Hello, everyone. It is like almost 11 p.m. for me, so I am not going to be the most high energy, but welcome in any of you who want to go through this Intervallo with me. I figured I don't really have much of a reason not to stream it, so I'm going to do so. I might not be reading chat too much while I'm actually playing, but we can get any little bits of conversation out of the way now. I am very excited to see what this Intervallo has. Uh, those those trailers, both the teaser trailer and the main trailer, are some of the best they've ever done, and it makes me very excited for this. The concept is definitely a very exciting Intervallo. Not only are we going to be getting some crazy lore with Gregor and Sinclair, as well as the teased W Corp replacement wannabe wing, which we can kind of see in Rodian's Uptie art, and was also hinted at in Ballisto's thing, on top of, you know, all of the mentions they've had. Just generally a lot of corridor lore as well we're going to get. But on top of all of, like, the big overarching lore stuff, it looks like it's going to have some very nice character development for Rodian and probably Kira as well. Rodian? No, Ryoshu! Bleh! Who knows, maybe we'll get Rodian, but Ryoshu is what I meant. I'm also very excited to see more of the ring, and especially that big Leshen dude. He looks sick as hell, and I cannot wait to see what another Maestro of the Ring looks like. We've got 3 of them now. I think that's the most high-ranking members we've got out of any finger. 3 Maestros. Assuming that guy's a Maestro, which, let's be honest, he looks like a Maestro. But the ways in which the different ring members sort of modify their bodies, and especially the Maestros make themselves into their art, that's great. Yeah, looking forward to see Gregor Trauma. Yeah. What's this button? Oh, members only live stream. Okay, that's why it's giving me a notification. Because I enabled memberships. Well, I'm not going to make this members only. That would be stupid. I think I have like 1 member so far. Maybe 2, I don't know. I haven't checked recently, but... if you want to give money and get the cool little sticker on your chat message things, go ahead and join with memberships. Woo. I don't know, I don't do this very often. But... yeah. The new identities look cool. A little messy in some regards. I think Merceau has a bit too little, and Rodian has a little too much. But overall, I think they're fine. I like what they're trying to do. Oh yeah, we're not taking on a Maestro in a fair fight, that's for sure. I mean, that seems to be why Ryoshu feels like she's going to need the sword. And why she's going to try and draw it and fail. Yeah, rather have money for taxes at the moment. Absolutely fair. This is, I think most of the world is not going through a very good time economically. So. Yeah. Yeah, that's less of a headcanon and more of just an inference of what's in the trailer. I assume it's going to be confirmed, in this Intervallo. That seems to be what they're hinting at, so... Also, we recently got sort of confirmation on some stuff going on with Heathcliff as well. That Wild Hunt is very much a power that is unique to him and not specifically like Earl King. And that's very cool. I can't wait to see how that's going to develop in the story and how it's going to be utilized. It was obviously, talked about in the Wild Hunt Uptai story, but getting, like, hard confirmation is very nice. Especially since it seems to also involve jumping between mirror worlds, which I don't think it's fully something he can do on his own, just given that he did need Ncorp's help for proper hosts and all that, but he at least has some ability to get through the mirror worlds just on his own. Yeah, Heathcliff has a mark. It's a good possibility, though it also seems to be related to the river beneath the manor, is one of the also likely theories. So it could be one, could be the other, could be both. I've also seen, I've seen the theory that the wedding ring is a relic, or engagement ring, or whatever, promise ring, that it's some sort of relic. That's also a possibility. We don't fully know, but I don't know if the Wild Hunt was mentioned in Lobotomy Corp. I'm not super familiar with the stuff in that game. Yeah. Wild Hunt is a mythological concept, so it's not surprising that they would, sort of tease that early, even if they didn't fully have an idea of how they were going to fulfill it. Yeah, Dante and Sinclair definitely have marks. I do want to talk about this on a Mirror Dungeon stream, but basically my theories are, obviously Sinclair and Dante, and then I also think Ryoshu is one, and I think Merceau is one who has the mark. As for the other sinners, there's a couple that definitely could have it, but those are the two that I definitely feel absolutely have it. Yeah, who knows, maybe there's multiple Wild Hunt leaders. I did kind of feel that at one point. I feel it a little less now, but I was thinking the way Faust talked about it, as if it were more so a phenomenon than a specific thing unique to him, it did kind of feel like there were the possibilities of more Earl Kings and or more Wild Hunts. In fact, I think if there is such a thing as more Wild Hunt Fausts and Wild Hunts and Earl Kings, it's going to be Faust that we see next do it. It's going to be, the Gesellschaft coming through, and that would be maybe the villain of Faust's Canto is whatever Earl King Faust would look like. I don't know. I also recently had the idea for Faust's Canto of, what if the Faust of the Gesellschaft would impose themselves on whatever counterparts are closest in our world. So, like, we are talking with Hohenheim, and then all of a sudden Hohenheim is replaced by Hohenheim Faust. That would be terrifying if they could just replace people in our world in order to fuck us up. That would be quite something. Yeah, the ring having a new counter-focused thing is interesting. Definitely gonna have to see how that plays out. Yeah, Merceau is basically a 2-star ID that's been promoted to 3-star for the sake of extra numbers. That's how a lot of these free event IDs go. That's how a good few different IDs have been designed recently, is just they're, 2 stars but not 2 stars. Five more minutes. Woo! Alright. Invasion of the Gesellschaft. Body Snatchers. Yeah. I'm fine with them getting rid of 2-star IDs, but the fact that so many IDs are still being made essentially as if they were 2 stars, definitely mixed feelings about that. Like Merceau specifically, I think, yeah, if they're doing him like this, should just be a solid 2-star. There's not much reason to make him 3-star. Yeah, Index Faust would have been a 2-star. Like, I get why they got rid of 2 stars, and I think it's overall a good idea, but there's definitely some leftovers from 2 stars that's in an awkward spot. Either make them 2 stars again, and just let them be decent, and let them keep up with 3 stars, even if they're not going to, exceed them. Even if they are just a worse version, let them be a worse version that's still solid, essentially. Alright, Ratchet Sinclair! Yeah. Yeah, 2 stars, cheaper to uptime and stuff. Yeah, that would be nice. I think there are some good examples of what would be a 2-star instead being made into 3-star. Like, I think Thumb Sinclair is really good, because he feels mostly like a 3-star that just has his own more supporting role compared to the big star. He fulfills a niche that nobody else can. So even if he gets, outscaled, which he does actually have very good numbers anyway, but even if he gets outscaled, he still has a role that no other unit would fulfill, so. He can be special. He remains special no matter what comes out later, unless someone comes out with his very specific niche, which is not super likely. There probably will be another ammo support ID at some point, but I doubt it'll sort of work the same way. Thumb Sinclair and Envy Res. Interesting. Oh, middle. Yeah, middle Sinclair. Hey, almost there. Think Merceau has that niche? I don't remember his kit exactly. Defense level down application. I mean, yeah. There are other IDs that inflict that, but not too many. Honestly, it's mostly used in Mirror Dungeon, come to think of it. That's interesting. Anyway, I think he's mostly just a worse Rhodian. He is not, like, absolutely useless by any means, but... Okay, that should do it. Nope. We're not quite download. Okay. Give it a second. No? Hmm. Oh. Second, no Steam apps are open, so that's not messing with it. La da 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 da. Let's see. Will you update now? No? Yeah, I hope it's not any sort of, like, big technical issue. If it's a few minutes late, not the end of the world, but... Sometimes Steam takes us a sec. Hello! Hello, Thomas. And the artwork you see on the Steam community section is certainly interesting. Certainly interesting. Very, very wide range of of content. Yeah. Scissoring Otis. Anyway, you guys can't see this. Let's see if the game's updating. No? Oh, you're running a one-shot. That's nice to hear. Yep. I'm interested to hear how it goes. Oh. So. Not quite getting it. Let's see if we can... Boom. Properties, updates. No. I don't know if verify integrity would take longer than just letting it naturally. Ah, fuck it. La da 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 da. We got a good number of people here already. Nice to see you all. Hope you don't mind. I am taking a second to download the game. It is being a bit for. Wow, 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 wow. There we go. It is downloading. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Hello. Oh my goodness. Okay. So. Dropped in from Frey's stream, chat's a bit too fast there. Yeah, I can imagine. Love Frey, but being a bigger content creator definitely means interaction's a bit weird. Isn't for you? Oof. Okay. That should be decent. If I do this, will it? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh. I think we're ready to head in. Interesting, no, we don't normally get music for the settings. Boop. Oh no! Download the megabytes. Oh. So I notice Araya is on that paper. So that definitely confirms she was not erased from everyone's memory, which was a bit of a unclear thing, because only 2 sinners, if that did happen, would have even forgotten or been able to confirm for us. So having that confirmation is good that people do remember her.
역시 아직 퇴근하지 않았군. 집에 돌아가긴
그러니까.
그런 것 같으니
봄.
이러니까 오지 않겠나? 대신이나
봄.
못하지만 재미있는 걸 보여주지. 이번에
Oh wait, no.
정기 검진을 온다는데 말이지.
Okay. Let's throw myself in here for a sec.
실험 결과에 잡음이 조금 낀 모양이군.
Boom.
괜찮. 실험 결과에 잡음이 조금 낀 모양이군.
Boom. And there we go. Cool. So, real quick, I'm on stream. I don't want to wait too long and read the numbers. It's already late. Not gonna do too many pulls, but let's just see if we can get something, because I am on track for next Walpurgis. And that is a good start. Let's see. Amazing. Wonderful. Love it. Love to see it. Yeah, I did see Pablo there on the start screen. Ah, well. This is what you get when you have good saving habits. No? You get your IDs on the first pull. There probably aren't any spoilers in this Uptie story, but I'm still gonna skip it anyway.
잠깐.
Wow, so pretty. She does genuinely look lovely. Oh. I do wish they made her look a little bit more bulky in general. I feel like she would benefit from having a slightly larger shape. Like, she doesn't need to be, like, huge or anything, but just something to show she's a big lady who hits things. Oh, there we go. Okay. And that is basically it. Let's go to the event. Aw. Is the audio good? Can you hear the music well? Counter is a 4-coiner. Oh, okay. So all ring identities have a bonus. Okay, I didn't read that in the patch note. So that is good to know. I might as well go in with the ring team then. Okay. And yep, okay. So unfortunately the Kira announcer is not free, but I do not want to pull for her. Okay. Oh! That's a fun starting node. Ugh. Okay. I should probably read things out, since there is no voice acting. It would be very boring if I did not, so... Here we go. I don't know how all in I'm going to go on the voices, just because it is late and I am tired, but, here we go. A funeral was held for Martin and the LCE researchers today. I thought I'd seen more than my fair share of deaths throughout my journey with the sinners. But never before had I witnessed this many people gather in one place to mourn the deceased together. The unfamiliarity made me feel a bit out of place. Am I doing this right? Most of the sinners seemed to be feeling that similar sense of being out of their elements as well. Some of them were asking Merceau, apparently the most knowledgeable of them all when it came to funeral process and etiquette, all manner of questions for pointers. Expressing respect is the primary purpose. Hand placement and gesture are unimportant if that objective can be accomplished. Hey, where do I put this? Beneath the third pillar to the right. Can't any of you quit chattering for 1 second? Have you all forgotten the instruction to carry yourselves with solemn propriety that benefits the occasion? Oh, sorry. Cut me some slack. I haven't been to funerals all that much. I mean, I did tell you to read the manual. I even underlined all the important parts for you. Ugh, sorry, Ishii. The wall of text was just too much for me. My focus started fizzling out from page 30 onwards. Hadn't every sinner here attended a funeral before? Back when we set foot in the Brim Manor in T-Corp? Ah, thou speakest of the funeral held in young Heathcliff's manor, did you not? The one bereft of the dead. Bereft of the dead? I mean, someone had to have died, but because there wouldn't have been a property dispute big enough to involve the Oithi Association's notarization otherwise. I've said this time and again, but it was just an intentional anonymity to prevent family strife. Yeah, the idea of Ishmael giving out a fucking funeral manual is crazy. Girl loves her manuals. Intentional anonymity, is it? If the situation was indeed as thou sayest, then there was no helping it. Forsooth, yes. Yet 'tis a pity that the dead wasn't named at their own funeral. The name of the deceased was... It was Catherine's funeral. She was very dear to Heathcliff. I have thoroughly reviewed the past 5 years of worth of local newspaper pertaining to the matter, yet no such name relevant to the case was identified, manager. It's fine, Clockhead. At least you remember. That's good enough, isn't it? It had to be the Golden Bow's influence. Somewhere along the way, everyone's memories of the event at Wuthering Heights had become warped. Sinners seemed to think that the Golden Bough had always been in that manner, and that Nellie was coaxed into stealing it by Herman. Linton, in their minds, was now a grieving brother who had been conducting research for his dead sister's sake. Nobody questioned it. Not Don Quixote, not Faust. Every single sinner believed the twisted version of the memory as if it was a proven fact. Heathcliff and I gave up trying to correct them. Instead, we'd just check in on each other's memories every now and then. Yeah, so it sounds like whenever they explain to them about Catherine, their minds just kind of wipe it eventually. So that kind of explains a lot of why they don't just tell everyone. Because if there's something that he and I realized, it's that everything tied to Catherine had already been painted over. Every detail gilded and glossed over with the glow of the bow. The point is, how should I put this? The circumstances of that funeral didn't exactly leave us much room to properly express our condolences back then. Between Heathcliff running on a rampage and that Hindley guy bent on interfering with the execution of the will, I assumed that sort of impediment was common stuff for funerals, but apparently not, huh? No, well, I think it's actually rare to see a place that follows proper funeral procedures. I've traveled around quite a bit myself, but I can't confidently say that I've ever been to a legitimate funeral. The one at Wuthering Heights was one of the more proper funerals, if only for pretending to have a process. They at least prepared a coffin and even had a formal reading of the will. It seems funerals are far from being an everyday custom in the city. Funerals are considered a rather extravagant practice here as well. Corporations are not eager to grant time-offs just because an irrelevant someone has died, and the price of real estate seldom makes it viable to buy land and erect memorial houses on it. And what other options do people usually have? We used to just leave them where they died. After one night's sleep, the bodies were gone. Like that. Rather than paying loads of money to bury them somewhere, just have that stir up a load of daft rumors, eh? Rumors? You know, rumors about there being valuables buried with the bodies, or an arm being some fancy prosthesis, all that rot. Better to let the dead go in peace than to bury them in a grave for some sods to later desecrate it. Hello, Green Moss! Excited for the one-shot on Friday. For those of you who just follow the YouTube, I haven't posted it yet, but we are doing a one-shot with Green Moss. Oh no, your Limbus isn't updating. Yeah, but one-shot on Friday. I will have a actual post about it soon, and I will link you the live stream when the time comes. Anyway, good to see you pop in. Let us continue. In Hongyuan, people tend to set up graves if they have enough room to spare. Of course, there wasn't a guarantee they wouldn't lose the burial room by the next restructuring day. Onheim scoffed and hung his head. Odios? Odious foolishness, all of it. Comforting the soul of the departed, another mendacity? God damn you, Hohenheim! Stop using weird words. All of those funds so carelessly squandered, all for the purpose of furnishing the living with a fragile excuse to cling on. Those words from his heart, or just something said to convince himself. Whichever was the truth, I couldn't see the look on his face with his head tucked so low. The funeral didn't last long. It was just a brief moment of silence, followed by a few quick goodbyes that were shorter still. Ceremony came to a close once Alyssa, who was still in recovery, came to pay her final respects. The flames devoured the coffins of Martin and the other researchers, announcing the end of their existence with a crackle of firewood. So, suppose you'll be leaving now. Oh, we're staying until Gregor's stable enough to travel. Dante says we'll remain here until Gregor's condition settles. Ah. Gregor came to his senses again a few days after his unforeseen metamorphosis in the battle against the Thumb Nurse Father. He was given a checkup, and Hohenheim said there is no cause for concern. Physically, that is. The psychological assessment turned up disastrous, to say the least. Gregor was declared unfit for combat deployment for the time being. So you won't be leaving just yet. Good to know. And I assume you'll be okay with us borrowing Sinclair for a while. Huh? Me? Yes, you. The LCE wants to look into the sign you manifested, Sinclair. The higher-ups didn't waste a second greenlighting the project, which means what I'm telling you is more of a notice of investigation than a request for permission. Huh? What investigation? What are you? It's just a rather rudimentary instance of human experimentation. Calm yourself. Human experimentation? Did you really have to put it like that, boss? Not to worry, Sinclair. A swipe or two on your skin and maybe some talk therapy. That's all there is to it. Of course, if we had your consent, the avenues of research could be vastly... Nope, I'm not giving you my consent. For your reference, the other departments have also submitted some quite enthusiastic requests for research and observational purposes. Oh, you have no idea. We had to get Boss to fend off the LCA's Mirror World Observatorium department in their hissy fits. They wanted to be the first ones to get their hands on you and spearhead the research, you see. And had we allowed them, they'd have kept you for a good few months before letting you go. So the least you could do to thank us is be a good boy and cooperate. Ah, just in time. Our researchers are here. Sorry if you heard me bumping my desk. I was trying to get into a better sitting position. Alyssa waved at the researchers who were filing out of the funeral hall after paying their respects. It wasn't long before Sinclair found himself surrounded on all sides. Wait, I'm perfectly capable of walking there on my own, so just don't run any painful tests on me. Of course, of course. Stay strong, Sinclair. All I could do was offer an unspoken encouragement to Sinclair, who sounded ready to collapse into full-blown panic any minute. What about you? You not going with him? Oh, it's back to the long-term recovery award for me. I always thought scientific research was the one thing that flamed my passion, but with the recent events having introduced me to the merits of paid sick leave, I recognize that time off beats research projects in my book. Marginally. Enjoy it while it lasts. I highly suspect that every request for PTO submitted by our department will be rejected for the rest of the year. Well, it's true your average corporation doesn't give you more than a week off a year. Honestly, for the city, that could be worse. As soon as Alyssa trudged off with her dragging steps, the researchers seized Sinclair and carried him away. Alright, we should get going too. Oh, do you all have somewhere else to be? Well, I thought I'd go visit Gregor. I'm worried about him. Got something I said I'd help with. Gotta be there for it. I'm going with Sinclair to get some rest. Also to keep an eye on the researchers and stop them if they try anything fishy with the experiments. Let me know if you need anything, Dante. The Sinners fanned out in different directions. They seemed to have their own errands to run during our stay at the LCE. Everyone's busy with their own thing. The only ones keeping me company now were Ryoshu, who'd been filling the air around thick with cigarette smoke, and Don Quixote, who was sniffing and asking around at every corner for Vespa in a valiant quest for the new color fixer's whereabouts. Faust was still here too, staring blankly into the air. Is she accessing the Gazelle shaft? You seem to have some time to spare, manager. As I stood there, wondering what I should do next to pass the time, Hohenheim, who had apparently finished tackling and signing the stack of papers, walked over to me. This makes things rather convenient. There's something I had intended to discuss with you and Sinner Ryoshu, a matter that requires your assistance. What kind of assistance? WKOA? Says CH. Wait a minute, did Ryoshu just step in as my interpreter? It's not that I don't appreciate her gesture, especially since she'd usually snap at me and tell me to find someone else to interpret whenever the issue came up. But I can't help but doubt whether her choice method of interpretation actually accomplishes anything. There is, I must admit, a certain novelty in witnessing the reconstruction of that which requires interpretation into yet another linguistic form equally demanding of it. It would seem we are in need of more manpower. Scratching his head, Hohenheim looked around for a moment before coming to a sudden pause as though an idea had crossed his mind. At the end of his gaze was a certain someone who is busy badgering LCCA employees with her relentless questioning. Who else, pray, might know where he is, if thou knowest not? Now listen closely. The one I seek is a bearer of hair fashioned in the likeness of a bull. You there. Why don't you join us too? Dost thou speak of me? The LCCA personnel, who were cornered by Don Quixote and her rather forceful interrogation regarding Vespa's whereabouts, took the opportunity and fled the scene without so much as a backwards glance the moment their captor turned their head to answer Hohenheim. Indeed, there is a task that requires your assistance. But I have yet more words to trade with the most noble Yellow Harpoon. You seek to emulate the virtue of chivalry. Does that entail turning down the earnest plea of those in need? For the sake of clarity and distinction, it would be prudent to assign you a different identifier from that of my assistant. You are to be number 2. That is, assistant number 2. I have not yet concluded mine exchange with the Yellow Harpoon, but no true knight would abandon those who call for aid. Pray, speak thy quest. How may I be of service to thee? Delegating the interpretation of the manager's speech to Sinner number 4 has proven to be counterproductive. As such, your task will be to report to me what the manager says. Oh, that is indeed a simple task. However, this WKOA eludeth mine understanding as well. Prithee, allow me but a little time to uncover its mystery. Relay the manager's words, not Sinner Ryoshu's. They're asking what kind of assistance you need. The request for interpretation was not directed to you, but I cannot deny that your meddling, in the present circumstance, is a welcome one. It was simply that the irrationality and inefficiency of your suboptimal staffing choice and workflow have become sufficiently unbearable. Faust hopes this was not some guileful scheme devised to elicit Faust's cooperation. In any case, Manager, this request of mine concerns an investigation into the back doors located in the House of Spiders. I deemed that the two of you should be the ones most familiar with the structure and layout of the house. After all, you were the one monitoring the entirety of the five-pronged assault operation, and Sinner Number 4's familiarity does not bear repeating. Do we go to the House of Spiders right away? You have assisted enough. Perhaps you could help, Faust? Sure. Although not word for word, Faust relayed my intention to Hohenheim, who responded by shaking his head. Not immediately, no. There is one more member you should bring along. One more member? Seeing me tilting my head, Hohenheim pushed up his glasses. The apprentice who was captured alive in the House of Spiders. Kira. She has regained consciousness. Survivor. The place Hohenheim led us to looked less like a recovery ward and more like an interrogation chamber. Though every single medical equipment installed around seemed to be state-of-the-art. This place looks well equipped. Probably a direct order from upper management. Although technologies to restore lost body parts are common enough in the city, a facility of this kind is required to preserve the original form of her lower body in the reconstruction process while keeping the cost reasonable. Reasonable, huh? Do I want to ask how expensive the other options are if this counts as reasonable? A windowless room thick with the sharp scent of medicine and chemicals. Kira was sitting on the bed at the center of the room, kicking her feet as she regarded us. She really does have just the scar across her torso. That's fucked up. For someone recovering from bisection, she didn't look much different from how she'd appeared when I'd seen her through the Sinner's shared vision. Yeah, definitely a lot more open and casual. She was captured alive for the extraction of information, yes? How far along is the process of the extraction? It hasn't yet begun, actually. We were waiting until the lines of information that weren't questioning can be isolated. So far, all available personnel have been fully engaged in analyzing the documents and items discovered in the House of Spiders. What you even doing here? There is work to be done contingent upon information only available from a recent inhabitant of the House of Spiders. And following a discussion with upper management, I have decided to put you to use as the company had originally intended. No TV, no comic books, just a super prickly glare and a cold shoulder whenever I ask for something to pass the time. And now you suddenly need my help, huh? Give me one reason I should cooperate. Onheim didn't so much as twitch an eyebrow at Kira's biting tone. He merely gave her a nod with a steely, imperturbable expression. I didn't ask for your help, put you to use, I believe, was what I said. What? Your survival is not incidental. It is the result of a calculation. The company anticipates a potential profit by keeping you alive. Expected gain, as the term goes. Without such a forecast on the company's part, you would have already been disposed of. The upper management consists of people who would be disinclined to tolerate the daily maintenance and depreciation costs of this room, even at half their current numbers. Which brings us to our next point. Should you insist on maintaining this uncooperative attitude, the company may decide to convene a meeting to reassess your worth, or shall we say lack thereof, in its projected income statement. Well, suffice it to say that such a reassessment would skew heavily against your favor. The outcome would be a recommendation for immediate disposal. Hohenheim always had a way with words that could prickle and sting. But with Kira, it almost felt as if he'd traded the usual thorn off for a sharper knife, intent on twisting it right where it hurt. I'm dead meat as soon as my usefulness runs out, anyway. It's not like you're gonna let me live, not after I killed a bazillion of your guys. So you anticipated some form of a corporate-level retaliatory response against your person. That is indeed a curious line of reasoning. Then I must tell you that, unlike your typical backstreet syndicate such as the Middle, corporate entities of the city tend to avoid choices that may incur losses. The value of the information that could be extracted from an apprentice of the Middle, and the combat prowess honed under the tutelage of a great brother of the Middle, these two considerations are likely what increased your value in the eyes of the company. Ha! Y'all got zero self-respect, huh? You should consider yourself fortunate. Huh? The heck are you on about? Other companies would not solicit your cooperation by means of verbal exchange. Your interrogator would simply open your cranium, harvest your brain, and extract any and all necessary information without going through intermediary steps such as this. Even without resorting to such methods, the range of available means to compel the disclosure of information is practically limitless. Truth serums, hypnotic suggestions, electrical shocks and stimulations, and of course procedures utilizing distortions and abnormalities. That being said, the LCE department prefers to distance itself from such uncivilized approaches that may entail complications and after effects. I do hope that we share a similar predilection. You're so freaking annoying, you know that, mister? The feeling is entirely mutual. Leaving the biting chill of his threats to sink in, Hohenheim turned towards the exit. Give her some push and bring her along. I don't quite seem to be myself today. No, disregard that. That was a rather foolish thing to say. I will defer this matter to you, manager. Work of this sort likely falls more within your capabilities than my own. And with that, Hohenheim stepped out of the room, leaving me to deal with Kira. His reaction was understandable. The LCE had only just finished laying its dead researchers to rest. Kira was probably the last person anyone would want to face right now, much less speak to. What should I even say to persuade her? Still conned that thought when someone, quite unexpectedly, made her way to Kira. Yoshihide? You. Heard you got stabbed in the back by Matthias. That's not true. Papa wasn't landing a fatal blow unless he cut through me too. That's why he did exactly that. Aim for the enemy's head. Besides, he made the right choice. A litter sacrifice ain't a thing in a family. Huh. Family, coming from him. A middle mutt thrown out of his kennel. Doesn't it sound ridiculous even to you? That's... thrown out. That fucker Matthias was a great brother only by technicality. He fucked up badly. He was still family by name, but underneath it, everyone hoped he'd disappear quietly on his own. He was that family member nobody wanted around. Same treatment for me, being his brat. Not surprising it's the ST for the bowl cut, too. Same tastes? Oh, younger issue! Could it be that thou also dost harbor a passionate zeal for I quickly clapped a hand over Don Quixote's mouth as she smoothly chimed into the conversation. So what exactly is your point? The point is, you're taking too long. If you can't decide whether you want to live or die, I can shorten the hesitation. CQ, or I'll SY and C right this instant. What does that mean? Cooperate quietly, or I'll snap your neck completely right this instant. SYNC isn't such a bad way to go if you're keen on taking that loyalty act straight to the grave. Ugh, this is so crappy. Whatever, I get it, okay? I'll talk if that's what you want so bad. Her tattoos are interesting. They obviously were, referred to as middle-styled tattoos rather than actual middle tattoos, but those barely even look middle. That sort of barbed wire pattern, you don't really see in any of the middle. So, very much distinct, even if it shares some passing similarities. That actually worked? Fixers who go out in a blaze of glory aren't actually the strongest ones. It's the ones who survive. The ones who live to see another day and keep getting stronger. Anyway, Yoshide, what's up with you talking in weird-ass abbreviations? Like SYNC? That's so random. Who even says that? Hiroshi didn't bother to reply and simply chewed on the mouth end of her cigarette. But is this really the right call? To her, we're probably people she needs to settle the score with. As if. Half her tattoos are gone, Clock. They even confiscated her book. You think the middle sorry excuse for loyalty means so much for the stray that she'd bite us? Besides, better hear it from her instead. Hey, tell me why Matthias kicked the bucket. That's cause Papa's weaker than y'all. Yeah, you're the jerk sprout, alright. Kira pushed herself up from the bed with a sour face, but at least she didn't argue back. And we all called Hohenheim, who had been waiting outside, back in. I assume the prisoner was successfully persuaded? Come, you will find your weapon on the table. You may use it in the event of an emergency. What the hell? I can't even unsheath it. You won't be able to use it without authorization. The code has been slightly adjusted. Now then, let us head to the House of Spiders at once. The back door is up and waiting for us. We made our way to the House of Spiders, with Kira trailing behind us, looking like she was smelling something particularly fishy on us. Woo! Alright. Interesting. I thought we would have... Wayfarer! I knew it! I knew it would be called Wayfarer Corp, isn't it? It isn't it? Wayfarer Corp. Oh, we have all IDs. Okay. Boop. You I might as well have on reserve. You don't really have a bleed identity. I guess Pinky. You, Korakumo. You, Korakumo. Yeah, so, interesting start to the story so far. Not too much has hugely happened, but I like Kira's characterization so far. Seems neat. But you, yeah, sure, N Corp. And Don Quixote. Boop, okay. Okay, so, you, and these two. And then you can... Okay. It might be through Malkuth stuff, honestly. We might still be using that. Okay. Only a few days had passed since our last visit, but the place looked remarkably different from what we remembered. The sight of the hollow, frigid atmosphere and the endless stench of corridors hadn't changed. But Callisto's so-called artworks were now covered in white sheets, and unfamiliar devices were affixed all around the back doors. Prithee, who might those people thither be? Oh, hello. They're so bulky. Looks like some shady bastards moved in already. Our guarded reaction prompted Hohenheim to step forward and gesture to one of the oddly dressed figures. It seems introductions are in order for both sides. This is Team Leader Team Leader Alan from Wayfarer Company, who will be working with us on the investigation into the house's back doors. Wayfarer Company? A corporate entity partnered with Limbus Company, responsible for providing portal technology. It has, on prior occasion, been referred to as the New or Aspirant W Corp, though the name is an unofficial one. Our employees have also taken to calling you the New L Corp, something we have in common, given that we're both chasing after the same horizon. Ah, I remember, that company vying to take W Corp's place, right? Same horizon. He's probably talking about getting recognized as a wing. After all, the old L Corp had already fallen, while W Corp, from what I've heard, is free-falling at this point. And these are the manager and the sinners of the LCB department, our field operations unit, frequently deployed to deal with on-site matters firsthand. They have more personnel, but the rest are tied up with other duties elsewhere. Only a handful will be joining this investigation effort. Yeah, so it is through Malkuth. I understand. Field operations units are almost always understaffed anyway. The support you've provided is more than sufficient. Anlin gave us an understanding nod. The man slipped off his bulky helmet before extending his hand in greeting. Friendly guy. Ah, he's friendly. He's so dead. Pleased to make your acquaintance. The name's Alan, leader of Door Breach Team 4. Likewise. Before Faust could even relay my greeting, words spilled out of Alan's mouth in a strangely uneven rhythm, as though my ticking didn't bother him at all, like he was sticking to a script he had rehearsed. I've heard great things about you, Manager Dante of Limbus Company, and the bus team's performance. You capitalized on the suppression of distortions at T-Corp as leverage to push your products, and the profits were nothing short of staggering. I heard... Oh yeah, we're supposed to be a distortion resolving specialists to the public, but what's that product part about? The manager says it was merely a matter of luck. They also look forward to working with you on this task. Oh, are you the interpreter? In that case, I'll be sure to consult the manager only when both of you are available. Sure. Faust didn't seem particularly pleased with the role Alan had pinned on her, but she nodded anyway. She came quietly to my side and answered my earlier question when Alan carried on with Hohenheim. He was referring to the Monolith sales project. The credit was attributed to the LCB, at the express request of Mr. Hubert, T-Corp's executive director. Oh, so that's how the rumor spread, huh? We've reviewed the agreements. Now, I understand you'll be assisting in verifying what lies beyond the back doors. I'd appreciate it if you could share any prior knowledge you have about where these back doors connect, as detailed as you can make them, if you don't mind. Hohenheim fixed Kira with a pointed look. Though Kira responded by defiantly cocking her head as a show of irritation, she still gave up a sliver of the information she had. Honestly, I've got pretty much nothing if it's about Robo-Unk and his room. I mean, I've seen Albina hit up that door and the one over there when she was popping out to farm stuff, but... Farm? Interesting. Farm? Oh, it's, gathering material. I see. What kind of material? Human guts and all that. She'd come back hauling piles of them. So they're probably connected to some backstreets area. The backstreets. Any more details? Can you stop prying? You're low-key pissing me off. What? That's literally all I've got, for real. For a moment, Alan leveled Kira with a stiff expression. And even before I could register what happened, Kira's head jerked to the side from a sudden punch by Alan. Ugh! I thought Kira was nimble enough to dodge a surprise attack easily, but this one seemed to have caught her completely off guard. She stood there blinking, eyes round in rude surprise. Actually, it wasn't that he caught her off guard, it was the motion of the punch itself that somehow felt off. The fist being raised, the arm being extended, the blow making contact. The chain of actions was there, but just didn't look normal. Did you just hit me? What the hell's wrong with... As Kira reeled from the unexpected strike, Don Quixote spoke up in a cold, sharp tone. Thou, what manner of discourtesy is this? Ah, with all that whining, I thought the brat could use a lesson to remind her of her place. I had no intention of damaging your company asset, of course. I simply assumed the level of warning would not be inappropriate in this case. Team Leader Allen. That sort of conduct might not be an issue in your organization, but it is here. Should it happen again, do understand that we may choose to terminate today's joint assignment without delay. My apologies. I will keep that in mind going forward. Allen stood down from her without arguing back, but Kira looked far from satisfied with how Hohenheim handled the situation. He gets to sock me in the face and walk off scot-free? So friggin' annoying. Fortunately enough, her grumbling didn't escalate into her lashing out at Allen. That punch just now, though, what was that? It exhibited a behavior that defied the standard laws of physics. Presumably a form of technology utilized by Wayfarer Company. Let us resume the task at hand. Sinner Ryoshu, give Manager Allen whatever information you have. That door should lead to one of the ring-protected turfs. The other two on the left, I remember they were marked with an X painted with blood. But H and I, where they actually lead, it's all blurry. Seems that's all the information we can provide. Will that suffice? We now know that the doors likely connect to a perceivable area. That's already a big improvement in terms of intel for Wayfarer Company's backdoor mapping process. Which means there's less of a chance of us encountering a space beyond human perception beyond those doors. Oh boy. Alright then, I'll proceed with connection verification. Which door shall we test first? We'll start with the one Sinner Ryoshu mentioned. Huh, you don't trust me at all, huh? Then why even bring me along? Ignoring Kira's jab, Alan began setting up various devices on the door. Soon, an elegant white door opened before us. Shall we? Art thou joining us as well, young Hohenheim? Just this once. There are procedures for handing over field operations. Okay, let's see what's in there. Wow! What the? Is this some kind of wildlife exhibit? The moment we stepped in, the lights hit us all at once, drawing squints and frowns from the sinners. Thanks to my lack of physical eyes, I could make out a room filled with statues, or perhaps taxidermied animals? It felt like a gallery of sorts, but it was so quiet that the air itself seemed to carry a strange, somber weight. After a moment, someone shattered the silence, but it wasn't Don Quixote, our usual suspect. Holy shit! The scale is just insane! That's the whale from Aid Association Great Lakes Special Issue! Kira, who'd seemed beaten down all along, exclaimed with a bit more energy in her voice. Man, seeing it in real life sure hits different. And the Indigo Elder solo one-shots these monsters with that harpoon of his, huh? It's a Great Lake whale. Doesn't look like the one we've encountered, though. Organisms of various sources can be identified here. Singularity, modified, outskirt spawn. They look almost alive. They're not, right? No, they're... No, duh. Though RoboUnc did say that the ring has these zoos where they put monsters on display alive. Man, this would have been way more fun if we could see the moving ones. Everyone here's dead. Eh, still looks crazy sick though. The vibe really hits. Even though she was trying to play it cool, Kira kept sneaking glances at the massive horned display off to the side, clearly surprised in a way she couldn't hide. That said, I felt a distinct shortage of hyperactivity, given the presence of a certain someone in our party. Don Quixote? The eye of a second kindred, of House Tepes. Interesting. That's Dracula, isn't it? At least in Castlevania. I don't know. What is it doing here? At the mention of the word kindred, I couldn't help but follow Don Quixote's gaze. The Bloodfiends and eyes definitely seem to be an important connection beyond just being noticeably red. Opposite the whale was another kind of exhibit. It contained items leaning on the more gruesome side of things, starting with a crimson eyeball that caught Don Quixote's attention, and body parts like hands and bones that looked like as though they had all been stripped from a human body. It's a gallery. The School of Fauvism. Probably a main studio at that, which comes with a maestro's atelier and an auction house. Alan, we'll be making our exit shortly. Prepare to initiate the lockdown sequence. Before Hohenheim could finish his urgent transmission, numerous footsteps closed in from somewhere nearby. Oh, this theme! Oh, I've been waiting for it. Oh my god. Oh, I love their designs. Turning towards the sound of shoes clacking on the floor, we found strange figures wearing animal masks staring directly at us. That presence. It's kinda like Papa's. Ain't no way! That's not a raid boss we can clear at our level. We gotta get out of here! It's not that simple. Retreating is not a viable solution here. This door is connected to the House of Spiders. Escaping without installing a security system will invite pursuit. We must stall them until Alan is ready to initiate the lockdown sequence. As tension thickened, one of the strangers, who wore a peculiar brown mask, stepped forward. The voice that spoke to us carried equal parts curiosity and delight. You came through that door. Then the house's fall wasn't just a baseless rumor. A stray little spiderling fallen from her parents' web. How many years has it been? You. Who are you? Ah, right. It makes sense that you would fail to recognize me. I used to wear a different mask back when I used to visit you as a tutor, didn't I? A wolf, if memory serves right. Yes, that must have been when I was quite captivated by the sensation of tearing into the raw, still thrashing flesh of living prey, and the predator's ferocious yet cavernly resonant howling. Rings a bell. You're that maestro whose whole lesson was a 3-hour sermon, praising the intensity of primary colors and the strength of living creatures. Benoit? 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 I'm calling him Benoit. Benoit, wasn't it? That's right. That's right. Emile Benoit. He shares a first name with Sinclair. And they say you can't hatch a phoenix from a chicken's egg. Doesn't always apply, I see. Looks like that mind of yours is still sly as a raven's, unlike your nurse father's. Don't presume. I only remembered you because of the tactility of hides and guts. Makes for a passionable AW. At first glance, it looked like Ryoshi was casually taking a trip down memory lane with the maestro. But I had a feeling she was, in fact, dragging this out on purpose to buy us time. That lockdown sequence thing. How much longer till it's ready? And Hohenheim, the lockdown sequence? Don Quixote, who had been shooting the ring members an incensed glare sparked by the discovery of a kindred's eye, swiftly relayed my words to Hohenheim without a hint of her earlier shenanigans. I'm afraid the progress and speed of the lockdown sequence lies in Alan's hands, not mine. It is, by its nature, a time-consuming work. We cannot expect haste. Perhaps this does make a suitable juncture to trial Plan A. Plan A? Any suggestion that involves Don Quixote removing her shoes will not be dignified with a serious discussion. Let me go on Do Not Disturb. But I am loving these guys so far. Their designs are sick, and I love how colorful the Maestro is. Instead, maybe what Hohenheim had in mind had nothing to do with Don Quixote's shoes, because he opened his mouth as though he was about to retort to Faust's categorical rejection. But the moment he followed Faust's eyes and saw what she was looking at, he quietly shut his mouth and said nothing further. Faith and potentiality is not something I dislike. As for this, however, this seems more like grasping at straws. At the end of their gaze was Ryoshu's blade, a Ryashiki. Yeah, okay. Looked a little different, but no. I was going to try using it anyway. I've long wanted to see if a Maestro's death is any different. Telling him we're just leaving won't work, will it? No, it won't. Every individual present here would be quite the fascinating specimen to the artists of the ring. We are practically a windfall of inspiration and material that has so conveniently been delivered to them. It is improbable they will allow us to return unharmed. Faust is right. She and Hohenheim are geniuses, and Ryoshu is the wielder of a Ryashiki. Don Quixote is a kindred of a higher generation, and I happen to host a golden bough in my head. I have no idea how much information the ring has on us. But even if they knew nothing, they wouldn't let us go easily. Are you sure about this, Ryoshu? Doesn't matter if I'm SAT or not, Clonk. Think of that woman as Li Hang. Oh, woman, okay. And do as you did in HC's mansion. I'll take care of the rest. Right, that's probably our best shot. What Ryoshu meant was quite clear. Resonate with a golden bough, secure an advantage to fight on equal footing, then catch them off guard by slowing down the flow of time. A cut from Murashiki, even if it doesn't give us a real fighting chance, might at least stall the Maestro enough to give us the time to get away. This floor of the exhibit only houses submissions from students and docents. Hang on, wait, didn't they refer to her with male pronouns? What? Calling him? What? Hang on. Huh. I mean, I'm down for a gender fluid character, but I doubt that's what they're going for. So, I don't know. This floor of the exhibit only houses submissions from students and docents. But if you look closely enough, there are some passable ones that show the promise of excellence. And above all, this is the gallery of the School of Fauvism. And mine, the gallery of O'Neill Benoit. Which is why I would have preferred to take you without an unnecessary fight, if possible. A shame. Still, we're talking about a unique relic here, a masterless one at that. Acquiring the Araishiki makes it worth the cost. If you want a taste. Huh? Confusion flickered across Ryoshu's face as she tried to unsheath her blade. Well, what's the matter? Oh, the lock on the House of Spiders used to bind the Araishiki no longer exists. So why? Why can't I draw the blade? Now that's unexpected. So the rumors of you mastering that relic, were they false? Maestro only gave a loose swing of her arm, but it was enough to make Ryoshu recoil. shadow of surprise crossed her face. Okay, yeah, so her. Yeah. Could have been, yeah, like you say, not knowing the gender of the person could be an assumption on Dante's part. Wouldn't be the first time Project Moon's done something like that. They did that with another ring member, actually, another maestro, in Leviathan, so. Absolutely in the possibility. The maestro gave and yeah. The wound looked like nothing more than a light gash, yet the maestro's contemplative gaze shifted between the blood on Ryoshi's arm and her own, as though the attack had been an experiment to prove a hypothesis. It wasn't hard to guess what she was thinking. Noticed, did you? I had my doubts from the moment I saw you today. Was the House of Spiders a success or a failure? Tell me, Yoshihide, what do you think a serpent's defining strength is? What do you want about now? Ask any student and they'll give the same predictable answers. The deadly venom, the sleek scales, why, it's lamentably disappointing. The Maestro advanced towards us with an assured certainty. Then seized a beige thread dangling from the ceiling. No, calling it a mere thread would be wrong. It was something that resembles a thread, yet felt much more disturbing. I, for one, have a particular liking for the jaw and the spine. Flexibility of the spine linked like a chain, and the jaw bound not by bone but by ligaments that allow the animal to swallow its prey whole. Perhaps I should have said that I admire their structural refinement. The thrice-colored ring on her finger gave off a cold glint, and the walls and the ceiling suddenly began to echo with the sickening squelch and crack of flesh and bones assembling. What the hell is that? Which brings me to ask, what better way to claim this delivery of promising material with a single bite than a work of art fashioned from a snake? Isra plunged her arms into the long serpentine body of a monster. Her sheer presence radiated a pressure as oppressive as that of the Nurse Fathers, only more primal and untempered. You having quality issues? It sounds like that's not something on my end, but let me just take a quick look. Yeah, I'm not getting any warnings that I don't normally get, at the very least. I know my setup is not the most ideal. I still need to tinker with settings again at some point, but it should be fine. Yeah. Yep, just you. Alright, cool. Consider it a privilege. This is the first time this piece has ever been exhibited to an outsider. Hohenheim, is the lockdown sequence still not ready? 1 minute to go, step aside! The attack from the ego gear Hohenheim hastily brandished didn't even last a moment. The weapon was knocked from his hand. Oh! As I scrambled to equip the sinners with their identities, something abruptly stopped the beast-like appendage midway through its hurling motion. And the one who intercepted the blow, my god, that is huge. Shit. Oh yeah, look at that. She's over there and it's woo. Yeah, that is cool as hell that they can just grab their artwork and start using it as a weapon. It's Kira, struggling to push back against the serpentine arm with her still sealed blades. Kira! Did she suddenly have a change of heart I wasn't aware of? Shit, shit, shit! This wasn't the plan at all! Obviously not. She couldn't have changed her mind that quickly. Because the look on her face couldn't be anything other than that of utter regret. The middle, For someone who doesn't seem to be a proper member, you've inked quite a quantity of tattoos onto yourself. Ah, you must be the new kit Matthias took in. Why do you stand in my way? Fucked if I know, I'm already regretting it, alright? Damn it, they're definitely gonna ditch me here, why did I even... Must be instinct taking over. Couldn't fully shake off the opponent's killing instinct, so the body chose to clash head-on. So the behavioral facet of the psyche can be controlled with suitable training. Unexpected data, but useful to be sure. Ugh, shut it, mister! Quit yapping and let me use my blades. Authorized in lifting. Lifting law. But authorized and ready. Lifting locks now. Kira's thermal weapons emerge from their sheaths with a metallic clang, used the recoil of the motion to skid back and assume a defensive stance. Naturally, that broke Benoit's arm from the deadlock as well. Maestro lashed out again with that monstrous limb, but... Huh? 'Tis a foul injustice to strike against an unprepared opponent in a duel! Behold, for I shall allow thee a glimpse of the badass form that only the most renowned fixers have displayed through the ages. Seeing an opening, Don Quixote slammed into the arm with her full might, knocking it off its trajectory. Man, they're fighting back. They're putting up a fight. Predictably, however, the sheer force of the Maestro's attack instantly reduced her to a red sludge of flesh and bone, sending her remains crashing into the door. Okay, never mind. Ready to initiate lockdown sequence. I will seal the door immediately upon your exit. Everyone to the door. Faust, retrieve the organic remnants of Sinner number 3. As Faust made her way to the exit with what was once Don Quixote, the students of the ring surrounded Kira, barring her way out. A hollow chuckle slipped out of her lips. Called it for real. This is exactly why I didn't want to get involved. Taking Kira back with us would mean having a sizable force of the ring trail right behind her through the door. Kira, too, seemed to have realized the risk that no one in their right mind would want to take. She lowered her head in defeat, as though she well knew the fate that awaited her. I'm such a dumbass. What was I thinking, diving in like that? You! Don't just stand here! Get over now! Huh? But these guys are gonna come flooding in if I... You TTM. When I get cleaved in half again? You pin this on me later, you're gonna pay. Blocking the Maestro's arm by a hair as it came down on her again, Kira hurled herself towards the door with every bit of strength she could muster. More than a few students rushed in through the doorway, chasing after the sinners who had gone in ahead. But, lockdown sequence complete. All backdoor links have been cut. Fortunately, Alan managed to sever the connection between the two back doors before the Maestro could cross over. Bowl cut. Think you can still use your arms? Yeah, I'm fine. So she says. Sure would be strong enough addition to fight for us, but the ring members that have managed to cross formed a rather sizable force. Fighting them off with just the sinners I have at my side would not be the best course of action. In that case... Guys, I assume you're all available right now? As soon as I called out for the sinners, the voices came through Honheim's radio one after another. I guess so. Ready for your order, Executive Manager. I, Otis, am prepared to answer your call whenever and wherever. Hang on, I just need to finish this bite. Everyone to me. Okay. Oh. Hello.
너희들이 겁쟁이는 아니어야 할 거야. 머뭇거리다가 순간 죽어버릴 치고는 필요 없거든.
Yeah. LCE question mark. Oh. Okay. Cool stuff. Thermal blades off, thermal blades on. Okay, yep. No, they're Agabellas. Alt color rouge. Yeah, yep. We know. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Dark Souls! Dark Souls music. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Okay. This, oh wow. Okay. Okay. And then... yeah, blue. Okay. Yep. Okay. Definitely a weaker effect. Huh. Interesting. Neat. Yeah, the bird dudes look sick. Honestly, I would have preferred them over the wolves. Okay. I'm just gonna win right. And I'm going to run to the restroom real quick.
이래서 전기는 속성별로 준비해달라고 부탁해놨었지. 적재적소했으니까 그만큼 효율적인 일도 없잖아. 세피라 중 최고의 전투부서 징계팀이 나설 시간이야. 환상체라고 불러야 하는 그 괴물들에게 본때를 보여주자고.
Okay. Hello. Alright. And send it again. And I'm gonna go grab a cough drop. Will also not be long. Okay. There we go. Now we can watch the animations.
헤스드 같은 놈들은 이 광경을 좀 봐야 해.
Woo!
가지고 에너지 짜는 회사에서 이 정도 전투 능력이 있어줘야지.
God, these animations always look sick.
징계팀 직원이라면 당연한 판단이긴 해. 잘했다는 칭찬은 생략하는 게 좋겠지.
보여드려야겠군요. 외면의 예술을.
Send it.
이 광경을 좀 봐야 해. 환상체 가두고 에너지 짜는 회사에서 이 정도 전투 능력이 있어줘야지. 백주팀 애들만 데리고서 뭘 한다고?
Boom. Slam. Yeah. The aesthetics of this Intervallo have been great so far. I'm not disappointed. Liking the music as well. Very excited for the boss theme is gonna sound like.
헤스드 같은 놈들은 이 광경을 좀 봐야 해.
Woo!
환상체 가두고 에너지 짜는 회사에서 이 정도 전투 능력이 있어줘야지. 백주팀 애들만 데리고서 뭘 한다고?
Nice. I do like the way the paint appears on the characters. That's really neat.
다시 재생하겠지.
The little claw marks. Like the first door and the impediments are already beyond expected levels. I swear I thought that was it for me back then. Events of this nature won't be frequent. We were merely beset by ill luck. If you just listened to me and picked... Oh. You just listened to me and picked another door, we wouldn't have gotten cooked like that in the first place. Like, why even drag me into this if you weren't gonna trust me, weirdos? We would have opened them all at the end of the day, SD. SD, what's that? Same difference. Again, why shorten it like that? Just say duh or something. Or just spell it out and say it was anticipated. That's WA. Huh? Good work, everyone. Wayfarer does have a team dedicated to this sort of task, but the mortality rate is quite high. Honestly, I was bracing myself for the worst. The odds of completing the first door of an expedition without... God damn it. Without any casualties are under 15%. This, by all measures, counts as a flawless expedition. Tapping away at his device, Alan addressed us with an amicable smile. He seemed totally different from the same man who had manhandled Kira with a fist to her face. Those Fovists won't be able to cross over anymore with the door completely locked down, right? That cannot be asserted with certainty. Are you saying more might come? Corridors and back doors have always been the ring's turf, Block. And those Fovis beasts have endured a long-standing faction within the ring. So it's always been. So they did invent it first? They didn't just take it? Makes sense. We do know they're a bunch of scientists. If they've got that much history, they must know many backdoors, both the origin and destination points. Yes, compared to them, we lack sufficient knowledge of alternate routes, which makes it difficult to prevent infiltration. No need to concern yourselves over much. Even if that were the case, it was unlikely they would move on the House of Spiders so soon. They could always rush for a surprise attack, though. Even that Falvis Maestro seemed to lack clear intel on the events that took place in the House of Spiders. If so, it follows they will need time to assess and deliberate about the situation. Situation? The logical scope of their concerns will be identifying the organization that has secured the House of Spiders, the possibility of additional traps beyond the back doors, and the like. Once all backdoor-related procedures tied to the House of Spiders are completed, the resulting security frameworks should be able to preempt and block any infiltration attempts. This operation is more important than I thought. That aside, why couldn't I draw the blade? Is it the new scabbard's fault? Roshu lifted the sheathed sword with an irritated frown. And that's where I felt a faint vibration. The blade was twitching ever so slightly. That quivering most faint. 'Twas seen by all, indeed? Damn, I saw it too. Is it possessed or something? Looks like I wasn't the only one who saw the sword twitching, as though it wasn't pleased at all with how Ryoshi was talking about the scabbard. Roshu's gaze lingered on the sword before slowly shifting towards the back doors. Could it be that seeing the scabbard brought back some memory of Araya? Ryoshi, do you... Is it an SS? A demon edge? An enchanted blade? Which is it? It's probably neither of those, nor is it a sentient sword. This presents a fine opportunity to connect. Who the fuck is revving their engine outside? God damn, what the fuck? Ugh, hope you guys can't hear that. Anyway, this presents a fine opportunity to conduct another examination of the sword. Excuse us for a moment, Team Leader Allen. Please, feel free to go ahead. The attack just now damaged some devices, so we're going to have to perform some maintenance before continuing. There's plenty of other work for me to do while you're away, too. Are we to return to the headquarters research facility, then? No, that won't be necessary. There is a facility here that should prove more than adequate.
행진을 멈추지 마라. 이 좁디 좁은 왕국을 넘어 멸망한 그 땅으로 돌아갈 때까지 보아라. 저들이
Okay.
모습을
Decent amount from that. Hopefully it doesn't take us too long to get him. But given he is a 3-star instead of a 2-star, it might take a bit. Hohenheim brought us to what looked like a research lab, lined with cables, rows of screens, and diagrams full of complex symbols and shapes. I didn't know there was a place like this in the House of Spiders. This is a forward base constructed by Limbus Company following Operation Spiderpire. It did not exist prior to the house's fall. It is intended for additional backdoor investigation and research into irregular phenomena observed during the operation. Irregular phenomena. An example. Research subjects such as a spatial analysis of... Oh, sorry, I'm looking at other things. Of the correlation between the emergence of Sinner Number 11's sign and the manifestation of a possible future. Oh. Looking around, I spotted Sinclair and a group of researchers surrounding him. Same people who had dragged him off earlier. They were accompanied by a gaggle of sinners who had tagged along to either watch the show or kill some time while they took a breather after work. Hohenheim, how long will the examination take? With Sinclair's biometric assessment concluded, the analyzer device should be available for the relic now. Which means that should be finished in an hour from now at the latest. Scabbard rattled again at the mention of an hour. Don't know why or how, but the way it swayed, almost like a child trembling. It's moving again. Come along, Ryoshu. I expect you will want to witness the procedure. Fine. Ryoshu and Hohenheim headed off to the side. The examination was probably going to start immediately. Time to get Sinclair then. Wait. I was making my way towards Sinclair, who was getting bombarded with questions, when an unexpected figure behind the pillar caught my eye. It was Vespa Crabro, with a big piece of paper covered in crooked handwriting taped on his back. Wait, what? Snack thief? Ah, manager. Karen, snacks. Mr. Stringbean ate up all of them. Sorry, but I think there's been some misunderstanding. Berg, kick his ass! Oh, Isla. Oh my god. Not only is this matter not worth pointing fingers over, but Charon also shares some of the responsibility for leaving them out on the table unattended. Still, I'd prefer you exercise more care next time, or you'll put me in a tough spot. Understood. Charon? Charon, super sulky mode engaged. Not talking for half a day. Deploying super pass bitter candy. Beep beep, mode disabled. Oh, I love these little fuckers. Oh. I'm not sure if this is an appropriate request, but may I remove the paper from my back now? It's a little inconvenient for me. Charon forgives this time. Next time, no mercy. Best make sure she doesn't listen to that radio channel again. Virgilius looked on with an inscrutable expression as Charon peeled the snack thief sign off Vespa's back. Make sure to remember this, so I don't have to think I'm burning through what little candy chance I have left on such trivial nonsense. Thank you. Vespa gave a polite thanks, but he was already picking something off another plate and eating it, stuffing it into his mouth. Oh my god. Oh. Wait a minute, I was saving that for later. I assumed you were being picky. Well, now you know. Yeah, I still see you gobbling up my share. Ah, he took my snack too. Ver, kick his ass. Rodion Romanovich. I am aware that half of the total snacks budget allocated to each center is being funneled into your snacking expenses. Now, you're rating the LCE's supplies as well. Chill, that's totes been agreed upon, okay? Besides, that's that and this is this, Roland mentioned. Ugh. The lines on Virgilius' brow looked deeper than usual today. Hoping to help him out of this endless cycle of snack-related headaches, and to satisfy my own nagging curiosity, I drew near our guide and broke his brooding silence with my tick-tocks. Did we learn anything about Sinclair's sign? I've heard from the researchers, but nothing of particular significance came out of it. Observation of the sign has so far been limited to 2 individuals, the manager and Sinclair. Due to the limited accessibility to the phenomenon, the only verifiable information has so far been its existence. Researching that which cannot be observed is bound to be difficult. Faust has a point. Aside from Sinclair, none of the sinners can actually see the sign. And the same would go for the researchers. Even Sonia said only if select few people could perceive it. If there were more individuals bearing signs, there would be a wider pool for a comparative analysis of statistical samples to narrow down the scope. One of the sinners is just going to be like, oh yeah, I've been able to see it the whole time. Let me guess, Marceau. However, records indicate no suitable references exist. At present, the research effort is limited to reducing variables such as whether or not the irregular phenomena are tied to the location where the battle took place. By individuals bearing signs, do you mean like people like Damien and Sanson? Wait, then could those guys do what Sinclair did? Pull in some superpowered future self and just wreck everything? Even Sonia? I should step in and put an end to this subject before Rogia gets the blues. I don't think so. From what Ishmael and Faust reported back then. Right, Sinclair from the future said each sign carries a different power, I think. Maybe, you know, those layers of light rings Damien used to finish off Cromer, or Sanson dragging us into his story. Those could be it. Aye, that doth seem plausible. So none of that is information we can confirm yet. Correct. As you have stated, any discussion of this subject would not venture beyond the realm of wild speculation. Nothing has been proven yet. Ergo, fear would be an unnecessary response at present. This is, at best, grounded in supposition, but it would seem that the researchers are coaxing forth a hypothesis from the vestiges left in the wake of Sinclair's future self. Oh, that bit about the sign maybe being some singularity or whatever, yeah? The precise position of this hypothesis was that the fundamental principles of the sign's working may be equivalent to those of singularities, or relics. But as no actionable evidence was obtained by Sinclair, there was Sorry about the knocking things. There's presently no means by which this hypothesis may be validated. I see. Then nothing came out of them dragging Sinclair off for that research. Oh, you also thought I was being dragged off, but still let it happen anyway? Ah, no, I mean. I'm kidding. Just thought I'd try going along with the mood. The old Sinclair wouldn't have thought to joke around like that. He's really changed lately. For the better, I think. So, did anything happen that we should worry about? I stuck close to him just in case. Nothing serious came up. Just took some blood, a small skin sample. Oh, and they were also checking if the sign reacts to electrical stimulation. Yeah, and I had to fill out some questionnaires too. Things like, please describe what you remember from the battle exactly as it happened, or lists the sensations you felt when you regained consciousness. And your memories of that moment have yet to return. No, I don't know if they'll ever come back, actually. Faust said that they only exist with my future self, so... Wait, But for my future self to even have those memories, shouldn't I carry them in the first place? Which comes first? A paradox, it would seem. In such a case, that Sinclair is merely one branch among possible futures. As the future unfurls into boundless branches by means of ceaseless bifurcation, then the body of information that constitutes a certain future would scatter into grains, the more fleeting than dust, too diminished to ever reverse their course and trace their path back to the self that now exists. Is that the theory suggested? Not a certainty, but a plausible interpretation. Here you go again. More of that nonsense only you lot understand. Oi, memory or not, that future guy still came out of him, didn't he? And some part of him's gotta be left in there somewhere, yeah? Like muscle memory or whatever. Perhaps he can still pull some of those tricks from back then. Tricks from back then? Heard you kicked off proper out there. Even pulled that trick you picked up from that plastered old geezer, right? Not just that, he was using that Hmong, Chinese character, technique quite effortlessly, too. What? That glowing ring thing? Yup, the glowing ring thing. He had 2 of them coiled around his weapon. I used the glowing ring thing? This is the first time I'm hearing anything about it. Alright, so what exactly is that glowing ring thing? Anyone? Maybe some technique that enhances physical capability. I mean, I guess that flashy aura that makes you real tough's one part of it, but there's gotta be more, right? Dunno. Could be a secret finger thing they pass down to their members. Technique, gear, something like that. Look at it. The Black Coney leader, that Li Hang prick, and the nurse fathers we fought. A lot of them's finger, ain't they? The notion seems to unravel, for even among the LCD, there were those who came to wield it. And for Julius, too. So what, only the proper hard bastards can use it? Some posh top-end trick, is it? Without anyone in particular prompting it, the sinners slowly turned their gaze towards Virgilius and Vespa. I only learned to wield it from my team leader, too. I have a century understanding of Shin, but I can claim nothing too profound. So Moses was the first in the LCD to learn it. That makes sense, I suppose. She is the one most in tune with that sort of thing. Okay. However, what I can spare are some rumors, though they are all without proper sources. Rumors? They circulated amongst Elite Fixer and Association leadership. That there exists a power called Shin, capable of enhancing the body without having to pay expensive upkeep costs. A rumor among Fixers, sayest thou? Yes, even the technique to manifest it, how-to trips really, spread through hearsay. Oh yeah, that tracks. That super rookie column in the last mag bonus vid? Bro was really popping off with it. Straight up aura farmed with a shiny Hmong wrapped around the weapon. It must be that mine eyes are yet to be privy seeing such a marvel in a video. Wait, you serious? It's in the latest issue. Literally on the videotape in the back. Maybe you missed it? Videotape? Alas, for many a week I have been stranded from Mephi, leaving me a chance to read not only the prior chronicle, but the latest one as well. Woe is me. When I return, I shall feast through the night upon those noble exploits of adventuring fixers. As Don Quixote dramatically spiraled into a state of utter dejection, Otis cut into the conversation, her gaze narrowing with suspicion. From what I recall, the Mantle of Shin grants its user a high degree of physical enhancement. There is no such thing as reinforcement without supplies. No power of that magnitude comes without an equivalent cost to wield it. But power relies on the motion and will for manifestation. Its output is not consistent like prosthesis and augmentation. Depending on how it is used, the consequence it demands can reach each levels comparable to the ego that you use. You mean to say that it exacts a toll upon the mind? I can walk you through the fundamentals if you'd like. From what I observed, it appeared to be a technique reserved for those of considerable strength. At our current level, is it not unreasonable to assume we could make use of it? Regarding that, our team leader has been conducting its intensive research. According to her, physical strength itself has little bearing on one's ability to learn and wield Shin. As the Yellow Harpoon says, it is, in essence, a power that can be learned by almost anyone, provided they know the proper methods of training. Vespa's brows visibly twitched the moment the Yellow Harpoon left Virgilius's lips. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's a big fan of his own title. The Yellow Harpoon, huh? Well, it fits, I think. He's got those yellow stripes in his clothes, and he uses a harpoon, too. Can he argue with that? If I were to exaggerate, even Senator Yisang's pre-contract self could manage to learn it. Why would this self of mine be chosen as the point of comparison? Well, because you're the wimpiest one here. Don't let it get to you. Even so, it would be a mistake to assume it's a power anyone can grasp with ease. As long as you're bound by contracts as sinners, your ability to wield it will be severely limited. So, Purgatorio then. Unless you rely on particular identities or come upon an extraordinary circumstance. So, Purgatorio then. Shame that. Would have been useful. Hey, then what about me? Can I learn it too? Kira, who had been fidgeting with her fingers, raised an arm and asked as though she couldn't hold the question back any longer. Come to think of it, the middle nurse father didn't use any Shinnerma. Papa never taught me how to use it. He always said I could get stronger without a stupid crutch like that. It wasn't that he didn't teach you, it was that he couldn't. He was a man who probably never once reflected upon his own sins. A piece of trash like him would be incapable of even comprehending such a power in the first place. Vespa's responses always come back dripping with venomous hatred whenever the conversation turns to the topics of the fingers. Kira must have noticed too, or perhaps she simply couldn't find the right words to push back. Either way, she held her tongue, her expression settling into a blend of frustration and something that looked a little too close to sadness. If you want to reduce it to a yes or no, then yes, you'll be able to learn it with the odds in your favor. That is, assuming the company decides to tolerate your continued existence. I already said I get it. As it stands, you're nothing more than a pending case of disposal, closer to a threat than you are to an ally, strictly speaking. Don't get comfortable because the manager and the sinners treat you with lenience. Step out of line, and you will be the one who pays the price. There's nothing in what Virgilius said that I could argue with. Kira had been a member of the House of Spiders. She murdered scores of LCE researchers. And left us with plenty of memories we'd rather not revisit. Now we're just working together. Not contesting that decision doesn't mean we have no hard feelings toward her. Leaving Kira alone with her thoughts, the sinners slipped back into their own business. Snacks, idle chatter, and conversations about whatever has happened around LCE. The examination is concluded. I suppose it won't be an issue to let you hear the results together. Before we knew it, Hohenheim and Ryoshu returned. Woo! Seems there's a hotfix, eh? Let's just take a look at Steam and see if... Okay, it's just for Dante's notes. I can check that out later. Cool. Okay. Cool. Renketsuin. Interesting. To present the conclusion first, no, the notion of the sword being a sentient one is incorrect. The locus of the will is not the blade, but the scabbard. An ego forged in a rather paradoxical nature. Yes, that would be the most appropriate description. Not a sentient sword, huh? Urshu's grumpy dismissal made the scabbard quiver, almost if it had taken offense. Somehow, I felt like I could understand what Hohenheim meant by will now. It was a reunion of sorts, one that gave both a tinge of sadness and hope. If the scabbard has its own will, does that mean the owner of the will can be resurrected? It is too premature to deliberate on the matter. The state of existence under question is not one that may be defined as death at the moment. I assume they asked whether it can be revived or brought back to life, so to speak. Even supposing that survival is a fixed variable, and that the reconstitution of the original corporeal body falls within the realm of theoretical possibility, the probability approaches zero, given the limits of today's technology and conditions. We researchers are inclined to entertain even infinitesimal chances, but the terminology of the laypeople like yourself, such a prospect would be labeled impossible, wouldn't it? There's no need to fixate upon the possibilities of the present, Manager Dante. Such matters are reserved for us scientists to hold on to. Right. But we may have uncovered a thread, something that could lead to restoring Sinner Ryoshu's memories. Though again, that too is merely a possibility. A far more practical avenue for you to pursue at the moment, nevertheless. And to that end, yes, further analysis on the scabbard itself would be necessary. Coordinate with Alan for your next duty. He should still be in the ring nurse father's quarters. That will be all. Onam cut himself off there, clamping his mouse. Yep. Alright, before we go, anyone will want to tag along? Pretending they're not interested at all. Where are we to go? Alright. Sorry, forgot the rest of you weren't there with us earlier. Faust, Dunker, Ryoshu, and I have been checking where each back door leads. Oh, and Kirito. The prisoner of war, executive manager. We talk about me? Yeah, I guess I'm working with them too, yeah. Best remember to tread carefully. Should you cause even the slightest harm to the executive manager, you'll be held accountable without exception. Yeah, sure, whatevs. Kira needled at Otis with a mocking pout, but oddly enough, she didn't appear particularly irritated. Anyway, I think it'd be better if we had a few more people just to be safe. One of the doors we went into earlier led straight to the rings corridor. That was a close call. Otis and Heathcliff's heads shot up the moment I finished speaking. I would very much like to accompany you, executive manager. I knew I could rely on you, Otis. Your recognition of my loyalty honors me, executive manager. Yep. Yep. I get it, Otis. You've made your point clear enough. Not keen on how I just keel over the moment you summon me. Feels a bit dodgy, that. Better I stick by your side and scrap it out myself. You probably don't need me to come along then. I guess you can just summon the rest of us like you did earlier if shit hits the fan. Research yet unfinished holds my efforts. I shall join you once it has found closure. I don't think I can be much help wherever you're going. I'll pass. I'll follow if that is your order, manager. No, it's fine. Just get some rest. He'll probably be okay. I can always summon them again if things get too dangerous. No, I should go see Alan again. Saru!
라만 차렌들을 뒤엎는다.
You've arrived. I was waiting for you. We sifted through and isolated the doors with the highest probability of leading into the ring stack gallery. Next step would be to enter the alternate door you mentioned. But... hold up a sec. I was actually gatekeeping more stuff. Huh? Gatekeeping? are you saying you have more to tell about gates? Doors? Yep. That door over there? Pretty sure it connects to N-Corp's nest. I saw Albina going in, all hyped about some canned whatever it was. That wooden door with bandages wrapped around the handle, Papa there would go in there to cross out vengeances. From what the book said, it's probably a turf protected by a Thumb subsidiary or something. Unlike earlier, when she offered only vague snippets, even about just a single door, Hero's now feeding Alan a stream of intel that seemed solid even to someone as clueless about the back door as me. She's far more cooperative than anticipated, even if after that Alan character roughed her up, from what I hear. Yeah, you'd think she'd clam up out of spite. Wonder if she's changed her mind about cooperating with us. Nevertheless, we mustn't let our guard down, Executive Manager. There's no telling when she'll turn on us. Frickin', I can literally hear everything you're saying, you know? Alright then, based on the intel, please proceed by investigating the safest doors first. As for the high-risk ones, I'll continue checking and let you know which ones you need to enter. Alan tinkered with the devices around him and flashed a couple of doors with blue light. Guess that means we start with those. Where do you guys want to go first? They all look the same. Just start with the closest one. Well, Alan did say these are the safest ones, so it shouldn't matter which one. Just as I reached for the nearest door as Heathcliff told me to, Ryoshu suddenly veered off, stopping in front of another one that stood a few steps apart. This door feels familiar. You recognize that door? I think I passed through it a few times when I was little. Hardly had Ryoshu stopped speaking when a fragmented memory, painted over in parts, slipped into my mind. Sorry, it hurts a lot, didn't it? I should have finished my homework faster. Oh, I know, let's go for a walk. But I don't recall much about it. That memory just now, could it be tied to Araya? Let's start with that door. Okay, this one, yeah? Here we go. Patient as ever, Heathcliff shoved the door open and strode in first. The rest of us followed, including Kira and the other sinners. And this place is, judging by its state, it seems to be a welfare facility located within a nest. Most likely, a park. Every sod walking here is dragging some animal along. Means they've got money to burn. Proper rich lot, this place. The walk that the past Ryoshu mentioned in her memory, and the sight of people fussing over their pets. The pieces clicked together, and I voiced the other memory I saw back in the House of Spiders. Did you ever come here with a puppy named Saru? Yeah, I remember that. Not a puppy, though. Saru was a bit bigger by then. Sorry, didn't hurt a lot, does it? Yep. Aww. Why isn't she getting any better? Gave her lots to eat. Oh, I know. Want to go for walkies? You love walkies, don't you, Saru? There's this workshop Dad always visits. The door there is connected to a park. We can go right now. Rishu's childhood memory burns bright in my vision before passing. That was her as a kid. Verily, such gentleness doth seem most unlike thee, young Ryoshu. Hey, clock. Who said you could show them my memories willy-nilly? No, come on, you know it's not something I can control. GG. Back in the House of Spiders. Why are y'all staring at me? That's so random, what the hell? Did you not see that just now? See what? You guys zoning out together? Guess it doesn't apply to Kira. And again, unlike how it was between Lendayu and Hong Lu, Kira doesn't have any direct connection with Ryoshu. I guess it makes sense. Was that adorable hound thy companion of old, young Ryoshu? Indeed, my one and only best friend. And because of that, Saru would be locked away in the vaults every time I had to depart on an assignment with a spiral driven through her. The first ever leash. Looking back, it might have been a kinder fate had she died sooner. To inflict such cruelty upon a voiceless animal, how can such wickedness be borne? What happened to Saru in the end? She died before her time. I don't recall why, but there was this day when Saru wouldn't stop whimpering in pain, and I shut myself in my room, crying. You were, not someone else. Who else? Of course it was me. Even after witnessing the fragment of a memory, Heathcliff looked utterly unconvinced. And while I was grieving, Callisto offered a solution, that he would give me a gift the next day. And what I received was something he called the Beastbone Blade, a Tonto that would whine and yelp in Saru's voice with every swing. Ew, no way! I always knew there was something creepy with Robo-Unk, so that's how he killed your dog, huh? No, he didn't kill Saru. That Tonto was alive. Did you just say alive? Bloody hell. Right nut of that psycho. Her eyes were embedded in it like adornments, and they'd stare at me in accusation. A tiny heart beat as though it was quaking with fear. It was a horrible sight. I felt pity, so I shortened what remained of her time with my own hands. Got me thinking after hearing all that. Why do you still mess with that art thing, then? Let's be honest, after saying something like that, you'd want to stand your well clear, yeah? Right? Those things he called artworks were also cursed. Straight up nightmare fuel. Like, I haven't really checked out other Ring artworks aside Albina and her Nurse Father, so maybe I'm just a noob when it comes to all that, but yeah, their stuff never gave me any art vibes, for real. I thought the same. Well, I was terrified at first, yet I learned more. There were some facets that suited my taste. I'll find its appeal in those grotesque creations. From what you've told me about Callisto, looks like he failed to stick to his own advice. But there's something he always used to say. Art is wholly subjective, and thus one must never expect the understanding of others. The uncanny, the horrible, there's a beauty that lies in the grotesqueness of it all. Can't say I quite get it, but if you say so. But bloody hell, how do you end up getting used to that kind of thing? Why do you need to understand? You're not an artist. I got used to it, but that bastard Callisto's installation artworks caused night terrors and nightmares for... Gabbard moved, and Ryoshu came to a pause. Trembled, there was at once a strange liveliness to it, as though it quivered between fear and anticipation. Night terrors, crying from nightmares, and the heists of spiders. There was actually someone who got scared of Ring stuff back in your day. I need to check something. We've seen enough here, let's go back. Yeah, let's. Nothing else worth checking around here anyway. With the inspection complete, we quickly followed Ryoshu back. We stood in front of the artworks, covered in sheets of cloth, lost in thought. Oh yeah, there used to be a huge artwork displayed here. I don't know what kind of impulse struck him, but the bastard went about fussing, said he needed practice so he wouldn't lose his touch. Oh. What's wrong? Over there! Thought I told you to keep the exhibition in your room. Ah, you've returned, Yoshihide. I decided to attempt installation art of a somewhat larger scale this time, but I ran out of space in my gallery. Mommy, people were screaming. Dearest Yoshihide, Araya has reached an age where she may be introduced into the world of aesthetics. Surely this wouldn't be a problem. It would. You liking it and me acquiring the taste doesn't mean Araya will. Let's get you back to our room. I was hugging something in my arms. It was crying. Saru. No, too big to be Saru. Lacerated memories can never be made whole no matter how many fragments are glued together. We could tell Ryoshu everything we knew about Araya, but it did never truly reach her. I see. This hollow void must be Araya. The sensation and emotion for what's been emptied began to entangle with Ryoshu's memories. And that makes it possible for us to reminisce about Araya together. Soft rattle Araya seemed to show how pleased she was with this small step. Alright, time to check out the next door. I entered several more back doors that Alan pointed out, but unfortunately, none of the places we ended up at stirred Ryoshu's memories any further. Pretty much nothing here. I think we're done. What? How'd they get in here? Falling what looks like massive lumps of flesh hidden behind a tent of sort. Those ring assailants from before. Didst thou not say thou had sealed the door earlier? How then do these villains come to stand before us once more? They probably infiltrated via an entirely separate route, another back door. As you can see, their objective appears to be the retrieval of the ring Nurse Feather's artworks. Get on with it! We need to move as many pieces as we can before we pull out. Wait, but I thought Robo-Unk was washed. He's got so many fanboys and fangirls here. Huh. Does his artwork possess value in and of itself? Or is it just a case of posthumous premium of death effect? Think about it. Some of the pieces have already been taken. Of course, they are of little value to both our companies. Watching them sweating and struggling to drag those mediocre pieces with them. Pretty funny. But I'm imagining how those pieces will be labeled with some pathetic notion of heritage. Connected to my name on their description plaques? Pretty unsavory. They may be occupied by transporting those objects for now, but they will likely soon find cause to harm the Wayfarer and LCE personnel stationed here, Executive Manager. It would be prudent to eliminate them without delay, considering the ring's reputation. Otis is right. Better to wipe them out before they try anything stupid. Guys, looks like we've got another job to do. Lend me a hand. The radio didn't buzz with the sinner's replies this time, but it should be fine. Okay. Yeah, nothing different about them. Woo, I'm gonna go get some tea started while animations play out. See you in a second. Okay, I'll check back on that in a minute. But yeah, story so far, good. I like that it's following up on a lot of the questions from previous Kanto. Nothing too, like, surprising so far. But just generally good exposition and recollection. Seems just generally solid. Not fantastic, but solid. Oh, I just realized we're back to the Nurse Father music now. Interesting. Da, 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 da. Okay. So, throw out more.
사람들은 이 광경을 좀 봐야 해.
Woo, filler fights. So great for content.
전투 능력을
Outstanding.
복지팀 애들만 데리고 뭘 한다고?
Might as well run to the restroom. See you in a sec. Okay.
상황이 끝나면 티피리트에게
Alright.
녹화되어 있냐고 물어봐. 이 정도면 엔젤라님에게도 증명할 수 있어.
Woo! Alright, everyone go get hydrated if you're not already. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. We're in for a good few hours yet.
항상
무슨 말을 하고
저희
싶은지는
영감을
알겠지만
일깨워
그
주시는군요.
영웅은 내가 있는 힘껏 찔러놓고 으껴놨지만 저것들은 언젠가 다시 재생하겠지. 내
Okay. With this, Ryoshu kept glancing around as if searching for someone, but unfortunately, no other ring members were in sight. Right, but where the hell was those lot coming from anyway? It wasn't just the first wave. Had more of those sogs legging it in from the back like they'd been lurking somewhere else. According to the tracking logs recorded by the surveillance devices installed here, they appear to have crossed over from another corridor. Another corridor. What precisely does the designation another corridor refer to? The room resembling a shopping mall, the one filled with batches of toys on display. Your company, if I recall correctly, designated it as the corridor of the middle nurse father. Oh. I suggest we relocate there. Your assigned tasks here have been wrapped up. Oh, and before we set off, do you have any information to share in advance? We are planning to compile a comprehensive encyclopedia cataloging the notable characteristics of these corridors and all their connection loci. Your cooperation will be most appreciated. Kira seemed to hesitate, gnawing at her nails as if she were just going through an inner struggle. Before long, however, she snapped out of it like she'd just locked in on a decision. Sure, I got stuff to tell you, like hella stuff. Some parts are kinda fuzzy, not gonna lie, but I can still recall like 20 places clear enough. I mean, it was home for me and Papa, so... I got nothing. I never once regarded that fucker's room as a home, and my memories of it all are all fragment at best. Scabbard gave a faint, restless stir. Perhaps it wanted to comfort Ryoshu in the only way it could. And accompanied by its tremors, we began to move towards the corridor of the middle.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가
School.
인정받은 세 가지 제품을 뜻하죠.
잘 됐네.
The heck? They swiped everything that wasn't nailed down, huh? Fret not, I spy thither half of thy worldly possessions. Articulated fixer figurines, video game cartridges. I'm not talking about my toy box, okay? I had hella many of them anyway. My TV's gone. The couch, too. As Kira said, only a conspicuous empty space was left where the television and family couch set used to be. Oh, those? LCU researchers hauled them away. From the sound of it, they're going to set them up in their staff lounge. As for the leather and the ornaments, they said they'd be selling them off. Yeah? I just seemed to notice something the moment she caught Kira's wistful look. Corners of her lips curled into a faint smile as she spoke with feigned nonchalance. Who knows? With sufficient cooperation, perhaps they'll become more receptive to the idea of returning those items. Assuming much? I never said I wanted him back. Anyway, I'll tell you about what I know, so come this way if you want in. These two doors here, made from paper and wood, they connect to S Corp. And that one, reinforced with steel, that one leads to V Corp, back streets, where... Having lived here and made frequent use of the doors herself, Kira was clearly the right person for the job of identifying where each door Wayfarer Company had asked us to explore led. Directed by Kira and accompanied by Alan, we checked those doors one by one. Good work. All data seems to match. Thank you for your cooperation. Until there was just one back door left to open. I know this isn't anything new, but I've got to say, the back doors are just too bloody convenient. Them portals, too. It ain't doing anything shady like the warp trains either, eh? Is it? Yours is as simple as turning the knob and entering. Seems to me you'll outpace your business rival in no time. I'm a bit hard-pressed to agree with the too convenient sentiment when it comes to using back doors and portals, but... Since your intent was to claim Wayfarer's superiority over the current W Corp, I'll take that as a compliment. Did I say something wrong? Every technology comes with a cost, Heathcliff. Happily said. While this has been a work day relatively free of casualties, thanks to the quality information you have provided, you understand that Wayfarer's company's primary service includes pathfinding, path security, and path maintenance. Each of those services is fraught with life-threatening dangers for our employees. Some never return after embarking on a pathfinding journey, some are killed while battling monstrous entities whose exact natures haven't even been confirmed yet, but appear in the liminal space between paths. It also costs a pretty penny to keep the secured path, well, secure. I'd say our operating cost is on the rather steep side, especially considering that we are also trying to prevent our rivals from taking this corner of the market. Man, this really is just the fucking backrooms, huh? Complete with the expedition forces and all that. Monsters. Thinking back, I don't think I've ever seen Alan enter a door to a new location with his helmet off. Must be one of his precautions, just in case. Maybe his dry smile and unsettling lack of reaction to anything are hints that he's simply seen too much to be fazed by most horrors. Well, our work's gotten considerably easier from this job thanks to the help from everyone here. Honestly, this partnership is working much better than I'd expected. Very well then, let's take a look at the last door. I will be right back to make sure my... Okay. Cool. Ugh. Ah, it's the door Papa used to walk through all the time. Followed Kira into the door. That's it. This one's connected to somewhere in the general Great Lake area, it seems. Welcome to U-Corp's giant stingray port ship. Stingray, huh? Why does that ring a bell? Hang on a minute. It's that place, isn't it? That port ship that has Salon du Moulin. Hello. A private hair salon. Heathcliff chimed in with a shudder, as though the sheer weight behind his words terrified him. Oh, doth it signify then that we shall finally be made audience to young Heathcliff and his hairdo most luscious? Ugh, quit it with that luscious nonsense, lad. Why encourage me now when you were so cavalier about blasting my villainous ass back in the lake? Indeed. 'Tis true that punishment wrought upon our merry band hath severely outweighed the crime. Would thou not agree, young Heathcliff, that to put the coupons to use would remedy thy pain a smidge? Ah, bugger it. I ain't even got anyone to spruce up for anymore. Sweet, then can I use them? We were regulars at the Merlot place, Papa and me. Papa would ask the middle fam for a favor, and he'd bring loads of coupons back home. They give away a hair coupon every 10 visits, you see, so I... Ugh, why am I yapping about all excited? Kira, who seemed ready to launch into a cheerful rant, came to an abrupt pause like a bike tripping over a ledge. Her face fell as she lowered her gaze and scuffed the pebble away. Looking back, I guess Papa did hella care for me, so why... But it's also the truth is, these guys went out of their way to get me out of there, even though they didn't know me so well. Oh, why is it gotta be so complicated? I thought I just gave you that anesthetic BC. The heck's a BC? All cut. Bro, listen, like I said, that's not how you shorten these things. Yeah. Ricardo could show up, but he's probably more chasing us than he is trying to return to U-Corp, so... For some reason, Ryoshi seemed almost gleeful to hear Kira correcting her acronym. It was reminiscent of that self-satisfied look she'd get after confusing us with these acronyms, especially during the early days of our birth journey. Thinking back, ever since Sinclair's translations became reliable enough, the sinners had less reason to voice their frustrations with Ryoshi's acronyms, which in turn gave her fewer causes to snicker about. I'm not sure why, but something tells us that she might be making her acronyms ridiculously incomprehensible on purpose. If your conjecture is correct, Executive Manager, she has one tasteless sense of humor. From what I recall, the toys and games he was into were pretty retro. Must have been annoying to play along. At first, but the more I played along, the more I got into it. Still corny and juvenile as shit, though. I know aught of that conflict within thee. Trifling and apocryphal as they may be, yet we are all compelled to peer hindwards at the interests of the family. Yeah, I want to know what Papa was into, to really get what he was talking about. Besides, I need to know these things if I wanted to chat him up and talk about a mutual subject, so... You tell me about you all the time, Yoshihide. Proud shit. Not a day went by without him saying stuff like, Yoshihide learned this in 2 days, or, yo, this was Yoshihide's fave, you know? Too bad I wasn't there to tell you that his words aren't worth shit. I once thought of him the same as you do now. A good man, at least among the nurse fathers, caring enough to bring me gifts. One day, I realized he'd never understand the things I really cared about, even if his life had depended on it. One day, thou sayest. Pray tell, was there aught that had changed thy perception of that man? That... I don't remember when or why, I just thought it happened. Wait, I might know this. Wasn't it something that happened at school? Papa told me that things started getting awkward between you and him ever since you quit school. Bullshit. I've never been to school. I never even thought of wanting to go to school. Class must have been talking out of his ass again. No way, bro. I even saw a clip of it. What? Papa showed me this video where he was teaching me how to use these doors. I even saw baby you going, I'm off to school, Dad, in that video, so I'm pretty dang sure. But I don't... As Kira went on, Ryoshi's confidence from her initial retort seemed to slip away. I couldn't blame her. So much of her memory had been mutilated. Ryoshi's didn't sound like she was denying it out of hand, though. She seemed to mean it when she said she'd never been to school and had never even wanted to. What does that say? Public room? Huh. And I want to glimpse the fragment of memory that made her say that. The moment I willed it, a scene from her past suddenly flashed across my eyes. Very well, Yoshihide. I will register you in an institution that is not entirely dissimilar from school. There is a a subsidiary of the ring. Academy. Sure it was a school? Not like an art academy or something like it? Wait, that kind of makes more sense. Yeah, must have been an academy, not a school. Academy of Art. She muttered a few words as though they were pieces of a puzzle she was assembling. Then, after a brief moment, she turned towards me with an astounded scoff and a look of mild irritation. Block. You deserve a smack. Ah! And lightly smacked me upside the head with her scabbard. What's that for? Memory sucks, Clock. I would have been just fine without it. At least I'd got to remember the incident that changed my perspective on Matthias. How do I go to a school? School, Yoshihide? Well, I don't see why you would wish, let alone need, to go on such an institution when we nurse fathers are here to provide you with all the education you require. You would later find our unique style of homeschooling to be much more enlightening than trudging through any of the Nest's formulaic educational systems. But Dad, I saw him in a picture book. And I don't have any friends here. Oh, Rhiannon is pointless. But it is true that there are qualities that can be learned only through group erudition that engenders competition. Very well, Yoshihide. I will register you in an institution that is not entirely dissimilar from school. Really? I intend to send Yoshihide to an academy as part of my educational curriculum. There's an Academy of Art, a subsidiary of the Ring. Companionship with other talented children of approximately her age will nourish the sort of inspiration that will guide Yoshihide's growth. Children in the Ring sound interesting. Let's see how that plays out. The prescript approves. But Callisto, I'll tell you now that you might be making a mistake. And how are you so certain of that? Do elaborate if you can, hand puppet of the prescripts, by whom every aspect of its existence is articulated. What do you even know of choice, of what is right or wrong? And off they went. Perhaps a little more situative awareness would have prevented what is to come. Callisto had found me a rather decent academy. The artworks that used to scare me when I was alone wasn't so bad when I was with other kids. No, that's not quite it. It'd be more accurate to say that I started to understand people's perspective on beauty. Of course I would, when all we ever did was nod along to the lecturers and spout purple prose, all the while making pinprick cushions out of people's bodies like it was nothing. Our lesson today will focus on corporist techniques. Now take a good look at the diagram here, and then the mannequins before you. Weave the blood vessels, and the same pattern as the diagram, and I don't know why we're even learning about corporist stuff in this day and age. Right? I don't get what the point of the slog is. Fine in shaping blood vessels to make a color that a drop of ink can do better. I read that in a book. Ugh, I'm more excited to learn about cubist technique than this crap. Honestly, why is this washed up movement even part of the curriculum? It's just boring shadow gore stuff. No, it's gory, but it's only boring and shallow because you guys are bad at it. What? Aw, you mad because your daddy's a lame corporist? Oh, is he? No wonder his stuff is just as... Ow! I was taught that people who say bad things about my family deserve to get their butt kicked. Them bad-mouthing Callisto wasn't what actually set me off. I didn't have any special reverence or attachment to family like Matthias did either. It's just what I was taught to dislike, that's all. It's one of those tantrums kids of that age have. Kids will be kids and all that. I'm home, Dad. Hey, buddy! Home early. Oh man, must have been rough playing today, huh? You've got dust all over. Got into a fight. A fight? Yeah. Kept saying dumb things about class stuff, so I smacked him. What about you? They didn't hit you anywhere, did they, buddy? On my cheek, but it's okay, because I punched them this many more times. Did I do good? That's my girl. Dad? Where are you going? Oh, you know, just got some business to take care of. Man, he just can't stop murdering kids, can he? Doesn't matter if they're his own or not. Why don't you sit tight and work on a coloring book? Daddy will be home before you know it. Okay. Is it bro business? No, it's family business. I ain't seen what's so bad about taking care of your own. Them soddy sods don't learn respect unless you beat it into them. Huh. If only I'd been a simple-minded fool like you. The story would have ended right there with a pat on my head. What? Papa, I mean the middle doesn't stop there. It never does. You hurt a member of the family. That automatically gets you written up in the book. Yeah. And he did what he did in the end. Huh? There you are, Yoshihide. Is class starting already? My diligent little girl. Wonder who she takes after. Dad? I know. I said I'd be back before you know it, but I got a bit lost trying to find my way through the ring bastards' tricky mazes. You know how they are. Oh yeah, there's so many sniveling brats here. Well, as for their crimes, they slapped my buddy's face enough to leave a mark. That's an arm for you. As for the instructors, well, anyone would agree they did this one sorry job of keeping these tykes under control. In that case, pursuant to Title II, Section 52 of the book, execution by beheading. They clearly don't got much use for what sits on their shoulders, eh? How do you like it, buddy? Papa's the best, ain't he? How dare he? Such senseless, barbaric violence. Uncultured, uncivilized animal. Do not be discouraged, dearest Yoshihide. I have eyed out yet another academy worthy of your talents. It's a much more significant and prestigious institution this time. I assure you, even intemperate berserker like Matthias wouldn't dare force his way into such a place as he did the previous academy. Don't wanna. Yoshihide? I don't want to go to an academy. I don't want to go. I don't need friends anyway. For all his posturing, nothing that was ever important to me held any significance to Matthias. He took a lot away from me just to feel good about himself. So I hoped he, more than anyone, never found out about the things I held dear, because I was afraid he'd take them away from me like he did the others. But he'd always catch on faster than he had any right to. Every contract that took me from the House of Spiders made me tremble in anxiety. Because I was worried that... I don't remember what. But I do know that I could never stop thinking about my room. Whatever occupied the room in my absence must have been the most precious thing to me in the world. It's doing that thing again. From everything we know, the ring nurse father seems to have been the least awful parental figure in your childhood. Huh, yeah. Didn't even know that that Robo-Unk was such a radical guy. He sent you to an academy like you wanted and even got angry on your behalf? Oh. Hazy memories. Almost forgot to mention. A few days later, after that, Callisto left a snowman by my pillow as a gift. It was made of heads. Heads? Yes, decapitated heads from the incident at the academy, threaded together into a sculpture. Thinking back, it was one sorry excuse for an art. He was sorely mistaken if he thought some low-effort bullshit like that could make me feel better. Could have spared us the details, lass. Oh, do you guys want to head back? Hang on. What's up? Gonna get that luscious treatment before heading back? Shut it, you. That ain't it. Look there, those blokes walking out the salon. Oh my god. Oh, no, it's Ring. Bovis, ain't they? They found us. it would not be odd to find a field branch of the ring's art movement in different districts of the city, especially that of the Fauvist scale. However, various evidence, such as their masks and the fact that our group has immediately drawn their attention, suggests that they are in the same pack as the one making regular incursions into the House of Spiders. This is LCB speaking to Team Leader Alan, requesting immediate commencement of lockdown sequence. Copy that. Why don't we... Holy shit, guys, stop! Holy hell, what? Don't you know where you are? You're smack dab in the middle of protected turf. Cause a scene and bros and sisters of the middle will be here any second. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Sounds like if you've got a GI. Talk. Ever played whack-a-mole? Like, why give ourselves a countdown? Just head back through the door now and beat up whoever thinks it's a great idea to walk through the door. She puts forth a sound strategy, Executive Manager. As long as there's no high-ranking officer among them, it would be to our benefit. Well then, let's do as Kira says. Huh? That was quick. Due to newly emergent complications past the door, we have concluded that this location is the optimal point to intercept and engage the infiltrators from the ring. This location, you say? Oh, wait. That door leads to a zone under a syndicate or wing's protection, doesn't it? Better idea to fight here, then. Happy to work with someone quick on the uptake. Didn't want to summon them while they were relaxing, but, well, can't be helped. Back to work. Alright. Yeah, good story again. Just generally solid characterization. Nothing groundbreaking, but nice to see. Oh, you're slightly different.
숫자가 월등히 적은 것에는 다 이유가 있지만 뭐 그만큼 탁월하다는 뜻도 된다는 점을 명심해 주면 좋겠어.
Okay, pretty much the same. Cool. Alright, good, go grab my tea for one last time.
이래서 장비는 속성별로 준비해달라고 부탁해놨었지. 적재적소했으니까 이만큼 효율적인 일도 없잖아.
Okay. And in and out again.
공개팀 직원이라면 당연한 판단이긴 해. 잘했다는 칭찬은 생략하는 게 좋겠지.
건드렸겠다.
이것 봐. 환상체를 제압하는 건 우리만으로 충분하잖아. 정신교육의 효과가 보이는군. 보다시피 직원들의 증오심은 환상체를 쳐죽이는 원동력이다. 당장이라도 갈아마시려는 저 눈빛 마음에 들어.
시작했군요.
나를 하고 싶은지는 알겠지만
외면의 예술을
그 영웅은 내가 아니야. 결코 아니지.
목이 피었잖아.
Oh, I didn't grab my water. Interesting that we are using all the Nurse Father themes instead of the Intervallo battle. That's fun. I don't know if we're gonna get all of them. It might just be the 3 that aren't, like, hugely story-related.
햇소리 같은
영감이
놈들은
떠올랐어요.
이 광경을 좀 봐야 해. 환상체 가지고 에너지 짜는 회사에서 이 정도 전투 능력은 있어.
If we do get Index and Pinky stuff, that would be nice too.
저희 뼈도 크게 잡고 이제야 친해졌네요.
있는 힘껏 찔러놓고 으깨놨지만 저것들은 언젠가 다시 재생하겠지. 내가 부서지고 파괴되어도 다시 교체되는 것.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가
Miseries.
인정받은 세 가지 작품을 뜻하죠.
Alright, 500, so we're halfway there.
지금 제 작품이 만인의 신금을 울리지는 못하더라도
Okay.
여전히 반지에 부끄럽지 않은 작품을 선보이고 있는 것 같네요.
Okay, and that about wraps up the middles corridor. Thanks to you folks, we managed to cut the door cataloging workload by 80%. I really appreciate everyone going the extra mile to check each and every door too. Made my life a whole lot easier. It's all thanks to managers' excellent strategization. Next up, the Thumbs corridor. But we actually found a lot of intel lying around there, so we just need you to check some of the doors in its basement. Intel. The manager expresses interest in the affirmation to Intel. In the Thumbs corridor, we came across a bundle of papers detailing the comings and goings of the Thumbs members and the orders they were carrying. Whoever wrote those logs has been diligently keeping them updated. The last entry was written not so long ago. While the contents of the notes weren't all that interesting, they helped us get an idea of where each door in that corridor led to. Valencina's shitty scrap papers. She'd been keeping up with that useless shit the whole time. Useless shit. Remnants of her desperate search for a thread to cling to. You found one of her backup ticket hoards. I've marked any doors that need work with a drone. There should be about 3 or 4 of them. While you guys do that, I've got some leftover work to take care of over here. So... I've been noticing this throughout our interactions. Whenever anything irrelevant to his work comes up, Alan seemed to have a way of unhearing and maneuvering right past it, as though he didn't even register what was said. Recalling our conversation with Caesara back in P-Corp, that deeply uncurious indifference might just be one of the essential personality traits to go on as a corporate employee in the city. Understood. We'll explore the areas past the marked doors and return here. Thanks a ton. Well then. With Alan returning to where the other Wayfarer Company employees were huddled around, we decided to follow the corridor to the left. Hey, there's someone in there. More of the ring, maybe? Going by their silhouettes, they're unlikely to be members of the ring. Come on, lady, get out of my way so I can see. Oh, it's the detective. Some stubbly guy I don't know, and that annoyingly airy dude. Sounds like Moses, Gregor, and Hong Lu, respectively? The trio's conversation grew clearer the closer I approached them. You okay, fella? You bumped your head earlier. Fine as a fiddle, it was just a minor fall. This is the third time it's occurred. We ought to discuss this issue with the manager once this consultation is over. I think I'm seeing a bump on the side of Honglu's head. Anyway, you know what to do, right? If at any moment you see signs of... Don't worry, Gregor. You made it through the explanation and the footage both. You're going to be fine again. I believe in you. Look at you now. We're right where it happened, but your arm is stable. See? Ironically, fear tends to grow the most unmitigated when it is distant and unseen. I understand what you might be worried about, but I don't see even the earliest importance of it. So don't hesitate to share the unfiltered thoughts that arise while you're in here. I know what I saw in the footage, but I'm still having a hard time believing it. Or, I don't know. Maybe I'm just avoiding the truth when it's staring me right in the face. My case is nothing like Don Quixote's. She just needs to keep her shoes on, and it's all good and dandy for her, isn't it? Things don't work out that way for me. Whatever they're talking about sounds hella deep, guys. You sure about eavesdropping on him like this? That geezer's always weirdly cagey about himself. Maybe now's our chance to learn more about him. He's sharing such an IS about him for once. Why walk away? Don Quixote gives a nonsensical interpretation of Ryoshu's acronym as Kira rolls her eyes out of exasperation. Between the bickering sinners and Kira, however, Otis stands in silence with an inscrutable look on her face. She is listening to the exchange between Moses and Gregor like a woman possessed. Okay, let's keep listening then. Otis was right, damn it, she was right all along. War isn't over. It never was. And it can't ever be over as long as this fucking joke of a gift stays attached to my arm. Barbed words. No, let's revisit a question you couldn't answer while this footage was playing. Hopefully it's become easier to answer now. You've been using that arm to fight just fine so far. How? I don't mind fighting hostiles or enemies. I'm not the kind of person that worries about people trying to kill me. But killing my comrades, that changes things, doesn't it? I can't even control it. There's nothing I can do to even brace for it. It's unstoppable, like some sort of time bomb counting down to unleash a disease. You never know when its symptoms will set off. No matter what lurks in the past of us sinners, even if they have killed hundreds, thousands, no, tens of thousands of innocent people, will you still embrace them? We'll eventually have to confront an even darker, bleaker truth of the war. Can I really trust Gregor not to crumble under that inevitable pressure? I see. You're afraid you'll end up hurting us. Well, that's... At first, I thought I couldn't give a hoot whether or not I accidentally murdered some of you. It's a bit saddening to hear that. You know how it is, Honglu. We, the bus team, didn't exactly get off to a rockin' good start. But through our journey, I've begun to think of you all as my comrades, and I was okay with that because I had too much faith in my own weakness. When I realized that I'd grown so weak I couldn't even take down some backstreet's thug with this arm, I was relieved. Imagine that. Same arm. My arm. A weapon that stabbed the heart out of countless people during the Smoke War. I'll be honest, when that Hohenheim fella said that I was an exception, thought alone made me hope. Yeah. Oh, that was not an old line. Exception. Potential to be harmless, weaker than even a non-combatant like he sang. You made me hope for a life that didn't sound so bad. We all know how that went though, didn't we? Blew up in the worst possible way. And after all that, I I just couldn't bring myself to fight again. Because I no longer know when this fear would eat me up again. Because I'm constantly afraid of this damn gift manifesting again. The same fear you've carried all this time. How did you endure it before? Badly. Barely. Holding on to the idea that the living's gotta live on and nothing else. This really brings me back years. The memories are so clear, it's like they all happened yesterday. Best you kick me off the bus before push comes to... That can't be the answer, Gregor. You can walk away, but the danger of our journey won't leave with you. Dante and the rest of us will still be facing an endless repeat of peril. And it's not like leaving the bus will bring peace to your heart. Our deaths can be reversed should an incident occur, even if it comes at the cost of Dante's suffering. Same can't be said for most people in the city. Now that's something I never expected to hear from you. I guess you're right. If we're seeing this through to any kind of end, this would be the place to do so. Not many places in the city have some warmth to them like this one does. Boy, this consultation thing's pretty embarrassing. I mean, it's not like I was forced to go through something as traumatizing as yours, Honglu. Truth be told, I'm not some special case. Everyone participating in that war must have gone through more or less the same experience. Miss Moses, Otis, and even Valentina, that piece of work. We can't attach a number to our misfortunes as if there's something to be measured. When I fled from my past, I tried my hardest to avert my eyes from it. But you, Gregor, you're not like me. Every few steps that distance you from your past, you'd come to a paused, despair look towards the path you had walked. All those years I let slip by, all those years that slipped you by are dotted with fathoms of suffering that are both ineffable and beyond measure. Different experiences, different pain. Still, there's one thing common to everyone. It's that trauma leaves after effects that linger for a long time. What are yours? I dislike loud noises, people who talk too much. They sound too much like the cacophony of the war, like screaming comrades who resented me even as they lay dying, and the wounds that they left in my heart bled me dry. But I thought you were fond of Miss Ezra, Miss Moses. I've talked too much. That aside, haven't you heard your fill? Might as well come out of that corner you're hiding in. Oh man, they knew we've been dropping eaves this whole time. I was actually waiting for just the right time to come out and say a few words, but I couldn't find an appropriate moment to... Oh well. I would have had to share this with Manager Bud or the rest of you fellas sooner or later, so I don't really mind, but what's she doing here? T.A. Temporary ally? No. Temporary accompaniment. Be an asshole. I'm working my ass off to help you guys. Pleased to make your acquaintance. You're right on time. I've been working on a theory, but I don't have all the clues to be absolutely certain. A word from someone in the know may immensely improve my confidence in the theory. Kira, do you know which door the Thumb Nurse Father was most attached to? Huh? No, duh. Duh, that's supposed to be obvious? Didn't you guys all see her? You think I'd just chat up a scary lady like that? Dude, she was beating the ever-loving shit out of Lucio every time I saw them together. Oh yeah, he went down fighting you guys to the end, huh? Yeah. Said stuff about her generosity and all that and fought till he died. Damn, that's unexpected. Been real for a sec here? I thought he was totally gonna swap sides. Really? That lad. Why's that? You know, the vibes. You guys don't know because you haven't seen him long without the scary lady always looming over him. What's up? Gonna stab her right in the spine? You. Look, I think you might be training wrong because, like, you're not improving as much as you should from all that grind. Let me show you what I learned about sword swings from this comic book. That is not how my master has instructed me. The textbook cannot be permitted to have even a single deviation if it means to repay the debt it owes her. Why are you so obsessed with all that crap? Anyway, you don't even like that old lady. But not so different from me in that regard, are you? Bro, what the heck are you talking about? I love my papa. Seriously, I thought things were gonna crash and burn before Yoshihide even came home. Suppose textbook and I had that in common. This one doesn't know. Let me redirect that question towards you, Sinner Ryoshu. Hopefully this touches upon one of your more intact memories. Do you know which of these doors the Thumb Nurse Father showed particular attachment to? Or the door she used most often? Why ask me? Fine. Yes, I do remember. We'll even need Clock's help to piece it back together. It's that one. Door with the metal pieces dangling. Holy shit, I almost died out there. Oh, bitch, a fucking fly. Where did those G-Corp fucks even drag those gross pests from? Mom? Are you okay? Do I look okay to you, Ticket? No, not really. Huh. I'm fine. You know I don't break easy. You should have seen me there. Should have been there to see me tear the head off that G-Corp vermin, Ticket. But Mom, your leg's bleeding a lot. Here comes another mission. Boy, they really can't do shit without me, huh? So much for a break. The fuck is this? Bandages for you. Is this kid serious? They've got truckloads of expensive treatments on the ready to patch me up the moment I get back to the field. Well, okay, never mind that. Hey, this works. Mom? Sit tight and don't start any trouble. I'll teach you some sword techniques once I'm back. Must have been her years in the Smoke War. Yeah, find the war. And the war took a lot out of her and left her perpetually exhausted. But she marched to every battle with a smile. Stopped drinking. Stopped beating me, too. Like a blissful idiot who forgot that she was still neck-deep in the inescapable pit called the House of Spiders. Well, the ironic peace didn't last. Sometime after the war ended, someone she called the Concilier, I believe is how you pronounce it. A Concilier of the Thumb visited the House of Spiders as a tutor. That's when she went right back to drinking herself into a shit-faced stupor day after day. Beatings returned, so did the edge in her profanities. It was pathetic. Hold on. Why though? Sure, I was on the losing side. But wasn't Valentina on the winning side? A war hero at that. So the Thumb fought on L-Corp's side. Did we already know that? I forget. I've heard of the regulation that prevents Smoke War participants from moving into I-Corp and K-Corp's nests. The common thread between those post-war rules is that they make the lives of veterans difficult. Dubious rules that don't discriminate between winners and losers. See, there must have been things going on behind the scenes there too. But doesn't that mean that back door will drop us into a trench they dug during the war? Yes, and Gregor will be the one to open it. Wait, me? Yes, others can do it for you, but what would be the point? Sure this won't just end up giving him more nightmares. I don't see how this helps him in any way. We do not have the means to treat whatever it is that slumbers within his arm. However, I would surmise that the underlying cause of his sudden transformation wasn't the arm itself. Then what? It's trauma. His arm took control after his psyche was crushed by the weight of the unspeakable memories coming back to haunt him. It's not because the arm went berserk that he started reliving his painful past. It's the other way around. Isn't that so? If you can come to understand that the war is really over, and that what others say, no matter how closely they echo the past, not necessarily aimed at you, then you may be able to loosen your grip on the fear and anxiety that your arm could metamorphose at any moment. While her suggestion may seem blunt, it's one of the basic treatment principles of M-Corp's psychotherapy centers. Fine then. Guess I'll open it up. Gregor walked up to the door, grabbed his handle, then paused, taking slow, deep breaths. One arm, he gently opened the door. Why are you running? You should be taking the lead on the front lines with our G-Corp banner held high. I don't want to die. Huh. It's nice to have a place to go back to. All right. Happy 15th birthday. But you couldn't possibly have the cheek to call me cruel. You G-Corp pests were far more messed up than I ever was. Ripping people apart, cannibalizing them. You were nothing but a swarm of fucked up monsters. I thought I'd woken up from the dream, but I was still. Okay,
살아서 돌아갈 수만 있다면 무엇이든.
드디어 내
책임은 시선.
어떤 조직놈들인지 면면 좀 받을까?
let's go. PTSD time. This place. Huh? It's just boring old office. I was kind of ready to be shook. Oh. Look, thinking we were about to walk into a war zone or something. You recognize this place? Huh. Of course I do. My last job before Limbus Company. And my desk was over there. Here's a tip, fellas. When you're working in an office like this, always get a corner desk facing the wall if you can help it. Lets you hide from the boss man. Out of sight, out of mind, you know? You can do whatever you want that way. Work, chill, or even freak out in terror at the slightest sound of metal clinking. Nobody will catch you. Nobody will think you're a bother to other people. The only downside of this desk arrangement being, people walk up behind me to get my attention. Higher-ups just had to hire, "Hey, vet hire!" and I'd scuttle right up to them. But others can't do that. Whenever people walked up to me from behind, I'd get afraid that I might cause an accident. Vet hire must be about the post-war veteran special employment. Right, but I couldn't possibly complain. Wouldn't have gotten that job without it, you know? Not everyone is lucky enough to be considered for that. I was better off than most. Gregor. Head manager Ted? Gregor whipped around, his hand instinctively leaping to his other arm. There was an unfamiliar man in a clean suit standing behind. It really is you, Gregor! And I see some new faces with you. Oh wait, you folks must be the account that the guys on the other team asked us to leave the meeting room open for. Landed a new job, huh? I see you've got a new employee card right there. Well, so how have you been doing? Me? Same old, same old. Well enough. It's not like I've got anywhere else to go, right? I'm not surprised you found new work so soon. You're always a dependable guy. Is the pay good? How's life, man? Oh yeah, you were gonna sell that commemorative coin. Some kind of medal, right? Hope you got paid good money for that. I like this. From what I know of Kafka, it kind of mirrors his own life, where Kafka always believed that everyone found him insufferable, when everyone really thought he was a fine guy. And so getting to see that in Gregor... look at me, asking how's life to a fellow citizen. Can't imagine anybody would have anything good to say about that, huh? Moving on. Hope no one's hounding you with vet hire shit over there. Oh, none at all. There's none of that here. Hey, that's good to hear, man. Glad you don't have to deal with that dang jackass of an exec VP messing with you like he was a war veteran himself. You know how many years I had to hear that geezer bragging about how he profiteered from the war, pulling himself up by his bootstraps, about how in every peril is an opportunity waiting to be found, blah blah blah. I'm preaching to the choir, aren't I? That guy. Is he still taking his sauna breaks during work hours? What do you think? His seat misses his ass every day. Oh, and get this. Remember how I used to call you special employment fellas Nepo Force? A few days ago, his name showed up in the HR report. Guess what it said? Turns out, he was lining his pockets with kickbacks when we were choosing the fixer office for a partnership project. Ha, there's about to be a vacancy in the office real soon. Oh, really, I love this. Getting to see, like, the little normal bits of the city. I think this is really good for Gregor, and also just really good for, just to see. Just for us all to see what it's like in the day-to-day. Really, isn't he, you know, an actual Nepo? Thought he's in the president's family. Yeah, man, it's that bad. It's what everyone ever talks about by the water cooler. If there's anything I learned here, it's that people obsessed with back in my days are also like kind of like him. And man, this also just rings very true day-to-day life. They hate how their glory days are behind them, kind of like a distraction from how pathetic they are now. And hey, a backstreets kid like myself don't have glory days to look back and yearn for, right? I look back and it's all doom and gloom. You know, if you have ever hit rock bottom, you also know the only way to go is up. You've said something like that before, yeah. Yeah, guess it's my own brand of bullshit philosophy. Oh boy, look at me running my mouth in front of our customers. Sorry about that, folks. Oh, don't worry about it. That's a pretty unique prosthesis you got there. No worries, but it seemed you were on your way to submit those proposals? Gee golly, I'm late. Thank you for snapping me out of it. I'm gonna get one heck of a scolding. Anyway, Gregor, hit me up sometime, eh? Let's go out and catch up over a drink or something. Sure, if I get the chance. Aww. I can see a little bit of him in the way you talk, Gregor. Come on, I don't sound as old as he does, do I? Many of us who returned from the war seem to suffer from a certain misconception. When we are told to remember, it does not mean we are bidden to live through the nightmare of the past over and over again. We are not being cursed to relive the pain and suffering. Both Ezra and I, we are both still trying to be free of the misconception we inflicted upon ourselves. It's not like I remember because I want to. Well, if you can't bring yourself to forget them, might as well include in your memory the fact that the war has indeed ended. Fine. Not wrong there. Manager Bud. Can't say I can give you any reassurance, but just going on with my life seems to be the best answer for now. I want to ask if you're okay with that, though. I'll manage, but it's you who's going to have to deal with the aftermath. Still, live on. Just live on. Yet even as his lips spoke those words, his eyes would take on a desperate and unfocused look, shaded beneath despair. Today, the gloomy gray seems to give way to just a hint of the blue sky beyond. This may be no more than a single ray of the sun peering through the dark clouds that have long suffocated the sky. It would probably take much more than this for the shadows to be fully lifted, but don't you worry, I'll be fine. It's a big step forward for him to have addressed even the little bit of that persistent anxiety from his past. Were you here the entire time? Yes, I was told by that Allen figure that someone had to stay behind and watch the door during these operations. So I stayed and... Oh man, it's these asshats again. Weird. The corridor is not a place for those newbies to be roaming around on their own. As you can see, a few uninvited guests have decided to visit us through a different door. Oh, we can't just let them through, can we? Kill them all. Yeah, I don't think I'll be finishing this event tonight. I'll probably have to pick up tomorrow in the noon or so. It is
우리 부서의
2 a.m.
숫자가 월등히 적은 것에는 다 이유가 있지만 그만큼 탁월하다는 뜻도 된다는 점을 명심해주면 좋겠어. 한 상체가 탈출했어.
영감이 떠올랐어.
죽지도 않으면서 오래 고통을 느끼는 새끼들이었다. 너희들이 겁쟁이는 아니어야 할 거야. 머뭇거리다가 않는 순간 죽어버릴지고는 필요 없. 이래서 장비는 속성별로 준비해달라고 부탁해놨었지. 적재적소했으니까 그만큼 효율적인 건 없잖아. 이것 봐. 한 상체를 제압하는 건 우리만도 충분하잖아. 패스드 같은
감상은
놈들은
어떤가?
광경을 좀 봐야 해. 한 상체 가두고 에너지 짜는 회사에서 이 정도 전투력만 했어줘야지. 복지팀 애들만 데리고서 뭘 한다. 징계팀 직원이라면 당연한 판단이긴 해. 잘했다는 칭찬은 생략하는 게 좋겠지.
Alright.
끝나면 티페리트에게
감상은
방금 상황
어떤가요?
녹화되어 있냐고 물어봐. 이 정도면 엔젤라님에게도 증명할 수 있을 거야. 이 일에 토끼 따위의 협력은 필요하지 않다는 거.
자세가 무너졌네. 자비에
거기서
감사하다.
지켜보시죠.
라라라라라. Okay.
꿀꿀꿀. 가져가요.
상황이 끝나면 녹화되어 있냐고 물어봐.
Generic fights.
엔젤라님에게도 증명할 수 있을 거야.
My beloved.
토끼 따위의 협력도 필요하지 않다는 거.
자세가 무너졌네. 자비에 감사하다.
Ooh. Oh, we got to his big thing. And we don't even get to see it.
저희 영감을 도와주시죠.
훌륭한 간말만해요.
있는 힘껏 찔러놓고 으깨놨지만
Woo. Okay.
언젠가 다시 재생하겠지.
Do I continue on?
내가 부서지고 파괴되어도 다시 교체되는 것처럼.
I don't think so. I should head to bed.
키의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기
Oh yeah, we haven't even hit
새
that.
작품을 뜻하죠. 비록
Oh, and we still have more in the thumb section. Yeah, no.
보이지는 못하더라도
Okay. Alright. Thank you, those of you who are still watching, which is not very many, because obviously Philip right. I will pick this up, tomorrow.